Secret spectacular show. Our big surprise is Ganja.
Ain't a surprise, man. I've been here fucking weekly.
I think everyone's surprised that you're still alive. I think that's the biggest thing.
No.
Yeah,
Hey,
my bad.
Hey, the New York trip's coming up, man. We might see me die this week. I don't know.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah, it's gonna happen.
I might die on the train. I might die on the plane. I might die on the subway. Who knows?
Planes, trains, and automobiles. The place.
Man, I was thinking the same joke.
Really?
Like, how do we make this movie into a joke?
Alan, we gotta make sure you land in America. Please do not make jokes about planes.
I'm here too, also.
Yes, Alan is here, and I'm just saying, people are not surprised when Alan's here. Everyone knows that. Him, Allie, me, but Gandra, I think everyone's still like, I don't know, can he make it? We'll see what happens. Hopefully, he can make it. I don't know.
Man, can he get past the TSA checkpoint? Will he be able to make it to another state? We'll find out next week on the Midnight Chat. It's like,
hey, by the way,
I tried my best at the Stranger Things thing, but I kind of failed there.
Oh yeah, damn! I don't know what the fuck I was going for.
I was trying.
I thought you were trying to do Seinfeld.
No, that was him.
Okay.
No, what the fuck? I was not doing Seinfeld. Was that like a metal version of fucking Seinfeld?
Let me throw you under the bus, motherfucker.
Okay. At least the bus. Wow. At least the bus isn't slowing down, because if it does, it'll blow up, and Keanu Reeves will die, and we need him for Matrix.
Did you just make a speed reference?
Yes, I did.
Why?
Hey man, I'm sorry, but I just had to Dennis Hop that one.
No, stop now. Stop fucking now. Allie, how's your day going, girl?
Oh, you know, it's fine. Just been like binge watching Stranger Things for like, I don't know, 24 hours.
Is the season worth it? All the hype that's going on over it?
Oh, well, you'll have to see with Flex and Chad.
Oh, yeah.
Plug.
Okay, so anyway.
Tonight, you're not going to let the jokes end properly, are you?
No, I'm not.
Do you need someone to burp? Do you need someone to burp you? Like, what was that fucking sound?
Dude, I actually really miss being burped. Like, that shit was great, dude. Just
How
like,
do you remember that?
Y'all want to hear a fucked up story that happened to me recently in Florida?
Oh,
here we go.
I was hanging out with my partner. We were just watching a TV show, and I come walking in because I just got done smoking, and I come walking in, and I'm coughing. He's like, "Hey, boy, you coughing up a lung?" So he just passed me on the back, and after like the third pap, I burp. He just looks at me. He's like,
"What?"
Yeah, he just looks at me. So I still got the talent.
You were burped? Did he also give you a bib?
Me at 23, dude.
Did he also put you to bed and, to tell you up and give you a nighttime story?
Hey, man, I would have preferred it. We're all about nostalgia now.
Oh, dear Lord, how old are you?
I'm 23 years old, and somehow my dad still has the power to burp me.
One thing I want to look at, too, by the way, Red Robot Keen's back again. He changed his picture for once, so good job there, Red Robot Keen. That's just a bunch of fucking anime trash. I don't know what the fuck that is. No offense to you and your anime trash. No offense once again to your trash.
Yeah, that last week, yeah.
No, but he was basically saying, like, yeah, man, like, he's last-minute hotel searching. But he's actually wondering, too, like, yo, who's going to be surviving the MCA DT invasion in New York City? And, man, people, I got to tell you, I cannot wait for the fucking stories. Man, there's always a story in Double Toast, like, in the Austin parties and the fucking Seattle. But go ahead, though.
No, those are some good times, man. That Lost Wells, that second night was the best night, man. Every story that we talk about happened in that one place, man.
Jesus Christ. Come on, then. I don't know. Maybe I don't want that.
Oh, man, dude. I still feel bad for Justin, because at one point I was just randomly wandering around, and I was asking Justin, hey, what's up? And he goes, oh, I'm trying to get a bunch of One of Us people to take a photo. And I jokingly said, hey, can I be a part of it? And he's like, yeah, sure, come along. I'm like, okay, sure. There were so many people, and the view was so small, the only way we can get it to work is I'm smack dab in the fucking middle, while everybody else is around me, and Justin is barely in the shot. I didn't see that shit till weeks later, and I still feel bad for that fucking
all you see is Justin looking from the side like, hey, yeah, I'm actually part of this, but I don't take my spot.
I hope he posts the photo, or at least sends it to me to post it. It is like, I still feel bad for that, but man, that Lost Wells was a
My favorite is when fucking Anthony thought he was gonna be cute and got pretend to be super drunk, like to fuck with the people outside, and the security guard happened to see him. He's like, "Oh man, I'm not really that drunk." Nah, man, go home.
Dude, they were carrying him in like he was about to be sacrificed.
Yeah.
Like,
God, man, no, but I'm like how the double toasted chat and the YouTube chat are already going at each other. Earlier Ruthless was in the YouTube chat, basically saying like, "Yo, like I'm not, man, fuck the fuck the YouTube chat. Like I'm DT exclusive tonight." You know what I mean? But Cedric's always doing both. I mean, I gotta give some love to Cedric, and everybody else is asked, you know, wondering. I don't know why they're wondering this. Maybe you didn't know I was from Arizona, but they're asking like, "Yo, like Nick is actually." Wait, what Nick is saying to Red Robot King? What?
Okay, he basically said that his anime was trash, and the new thing now is instead of people trying to defend anime fans are like, yeah, we're trash. Fuck it, we give up. we give up.
Yeah, because I was wondering why that dude was like dancing to that shit. Like, what the fuck?
I love it. You guys have got beaten so down that you just throw in the towel and say, yeah, we're trash and we're horrible people, but check out this K-Dodo.
Well, the thing is, though, I think what's happening now, too, because, man, I always get mad about nerds and nerd culture because, if you notice,
really? I never noticed that before.
No, well, like, for different reasons now, too, because another thing, too, back in my day, when you were a nerd, you had to deal with all like, the bullying, all that shit, and at least you got to have that, because if you found another chick who was into nerd stuff, you had, like, a future wife, dude. Like, you were fucking good. You were golden. And that was yours. That belonged to the nerds. But now, it's like these bullies are like, damn, dude, there's a bunch of hot chicks that are into fucking goofy shit. So, the bullies are taking over the nerd culture.
Why you keep putting the fucking frame on me, man?
No, I like your reaction.
It's like blast between me and Alan, and it gets really on point when you're like, yeah, and they keep fucking taking our culture. I'm like, oh, I think I might be guilty.
Yeah,
okay.
Culture of beating up people because of their likes and dislikes. It's like it's always like that whole thing is just like everyone's always been kind of into this stuff to a certain degree, but it was just kind of funny to make fun of people that were into cartoons instead of the people that were watching, you know, real life cartoons like The Real World and all that, you know, BS on those fucking Ratchet shows. You know, the fake cartoons people, you know, would make fun of. The real cartoons people loved. Like, it was all about what could you make fun of somebody for, not necessarily the actual content.
Exactly, yeah. Now, one thing that I'm looking for, because speaking of nerdom, man, today was a very nerdful day for us Double Toasted fans. Now, Ganja, I know you're usually busy on these particular days, but did you see what happened on doubletoasted.com today, sir?
Man, the return of the Psychos 3000.
Oh, that's the wrong name, man.
I know I fucked up. I only read it on fucking Facebook because I was busy all day.
Oh, seriously, yeah, man.
I missed it.
It was some really cool shit, and the thing is, I don't know why, man. Don't ask me, but like I cannot find a single fucking picture of the new they call them the side chick 3000 or sidekick.
I thought it was sidekick 3K.
Yes.
Like that.
Yeah,
I saw one photo of it quick. If I can find it, I'll post it.
Man, 3K, there's no difference between 3K and 3000. All right, come on. That was just
sounds cooler, man. That's why it's called 2K18.
Hey, just like I believe in blast processing, all right?
Blast processing was a joke. There, yeah,
there it is. Yeah, man, and I gotta say, man, like even wow, this actually just came in too, but like even D Vasquez, like confirmed or hearsay. It's like, no, man, it fucking really happened, dude. Everyone was so hyped, man. You know, I'm gonna give that. There you go. Mwah. That was great. No. It was really cool, man, just to see this whole thing happen. I was pretty hyped. Oh, man, talking shit about Jeepers Creepers 3. Children of the Tales, people. It's the shittiest fucking place ever.
Not worse than the place of scum and villainy known as Refugeesville.
Oh, man, fuck that place even more so.
Never gonna go there, man. I'm good.
Wait, you weren't part of Refugeesville at any point?
Nope. I figured it was full of crazies.
It really
is.
You're
not wrong. You're not wrong.
He's not wrong at all. I've been in that fucking place. Imagine being me after Toasted Toast was uploaded, and then that fucking group go at it. Not cool. Rest in peace, Will.
I just want to point out Nick is the only one here that's been teared apart by both groups and been equally hated by both groups.
And don't give a fuck, bitch. No,
okay, so Jay-Z sent me the photo I was talking about earlier. I'm going to post it in the DT chat.
Okay, cool. Oh, is that it?
Yeah, so I am just a random motherfucker that is in this stack tab at the center of the photo. And as Ali pointed out, apparently every photo I took in Austin, I'm a deer in fucking headlights.
Ali, you see that dude?
Yeah.
Which one? That's all dudes.
Okay. I'm going to tell a story about a fellow Toasty. Somebody in this photo, besides Alan, wanted to show us a lot of ass because they didn't believe in what Oogie Loves was teaching them and pulling up their goddamn pants.
Ooh, you know, they don't have
How would you be the judge of the guy who showed us the mountains of ass?
So how was that, Allie? Was it was a nice little strip club that y'all accidentally dropped into?
It was not pleasant. You know, me and Jet, we definitely felt scarred, but
yeah, Jet was there too, and yeah, I feel sorry for both of y'all. That could not have been.
They've never seen something so grand and so vast in their lives, and they've like seen nature.
Not so grand, not so vast, but man, did she get a whole lot of ass. Oh!
Man, someone say that for a highlight. That's some pretty good bars.
Oh man, that was terrible. No.
Already done.
Terrible, terrible. Nah, man, but you know what else is terrible though,
Trash.
Mr. Ganja Guru?
What, sir?
When people come into the call and they don't follow certain fucking rules, and then when they get into the fucking call and they don't follow those goddamn rules, and we do a highlight video, and then nothing can be understood because all the shit's all fucked up because no one follows goddamn rules.
Talking to each other, giving links to each other, fighting the rules, being assholes. That's how y'all get kicked, man. That's how y'all get banned and shit.
That's how you gotta listen to him when he tells you these. Exactly. So here are the rules. I'm sorry.
Rule number 1: newcomers join the call first. We like those fresh smelling faces. You know that Pantene shit, guys. Bring it on to us. We love to see you guys, new people we haven't talked to in a while. Just hit us up either in the PM section, Alan, Allie, me, and if Nick isn't busy, he'll probably hit you up as well, and we'll give you the link. Rule number 2: do not talk over each other, folks. Especially when you want to do some scat bob shit, because it doesn't make sense and it's not the 1920s anymore. So please do not talk over each other or do random noises in the background, because no one wants to watch that later. Rule number 3: please no nudity. This one's kind of the standard when it comes to YouTube. The titty is banned, the nipple is banned, but who knows? We might get desperate one day and I'll end up on Pornhub. Rule number 4: do not give anyone else the link. We have a planned show, and that includes who comes onto the show. So if you come up with a certain topic and you want to bring your friend in and they didn't get the permission, you're gone, and so are they. Rule number 5: read the rules. And Allie girl, is your mom not there, please?
Yeah, she's there. Don't be a mean person.
Aw, don't be a motherfucking dick.
Man.
Did you go back into like the 80s and talk to your 16-year self today?
Dude, I've been so immature today, dude. Earlier we were talking about some. Okay, so
Today?
basically, no, shut the fuck. No, man, something happened today. Basically, I was on Steam and I needed help, and Alan was helping me redeem a thing because I bought Jackbox Party, which we'll talk about that right now. Because tonight we are doing Quiplash, which you guys saw by the thumbnail, and it's going to be fun. So make sure to like Ganja said, let him know. I'm gonna actually give Ganja some power, some fucking administrative power over here, because I forgot to do that earlier.
I feel blessed.
Oh,
I was gonna say, don't kick me from the call again.
I know.
I did that once. Oh wait, that was Nick.
Man, I don't know.
Thank you.
No, I muted you at the end of the show, and we kept going, and I forgot to unmute you.
Man,
Yeah.
I don't think we ever told both those stories on the show. So the first day of me being like full host on the show, Nick was so excited to give me the power, he accidentally kicked me from the call. And when you kick someone from the call, they can't come back. So he had to restart the entire show just to get me back in.
Yeah, man, that shit pissed me the fuck off, because I was like ready, I had all my shit done, I was like, yeah, and then, yep, had to redo the whole thing. But
Man, I got bad news, y'all. What happened, Nick? I thought we were gonna get start the show. Man, I just kicked Alan.
and it was all quiet all of a sudden. I was like, wait, I just said something. You didn't argue with it. What the fuck?
No, and that was his first day on the show.
That was so bad.
I was so excited, and I'm like, wait, what's going on? Why did I get kicked? Was this just a giant elaborate joke?
This shit was all staged just to make him feel like shit. That would have been
We
bad.
raised you up and broke you, bitch.
But no, people. But here's the thing, though, man. Like Alan, my good buddy over here, he's always trying to help out everybody he can. Was helping me get refund back on Steam, and because his voice is so regal and so professional and formal, he read my screen name, which is Poop Soup. And this dude, I swear to God, you have not lived if you heard this dude without a joking like demeanor. Him literally say like, okay, yes, now click on Poop Soup. Like that shit is beautiful.
Man, because I saw his fucking name, and I'm just like, if I stay as calm and as monotone as possible, maybe he won't laugh. And it's just like, he's laughing his ass off. I'm like, fuck. If he starts laughing now, it'll be half an hour before we get this shit done. So I'm just desperately trying to keep him on focus.
I really like how everyone is talking a lot about Milo, man. Milo has actually kind of put out a little...
Pull the titty out!
Yeah.
And you know what? Harley agrees.
Yeah, exactly. No, man, but like for real though, the pull a titty out thing, make more memories. Is that something that Milo has said? Make more memories?
No, I think Jess will continue on with the titties.
Okay.
Yeah, memories is the scientific word for tits.
Oh fuck, damn. Wow, I'm gonna use that at
Why
bar
bring
one day.
science into this shit? Don't ruin titties for me.
That makes titties more interesting to me. It's like I feel
Nah,
like I
man,
feel
that-
smart
that
if I
makes
suck
me-
on one.
What, you think when you write you go to a biology exam and they say, what is the name of the female's chest organ, you just write tits on it?
No, I said big old
Yeah.
bitties.
Tickle bitties. I'm actually too, Alan. I was gonna ask you, man. What's the scientific term for a dick?
Penis.
Well, penis is the obvious one.
Wow, well, come on. There has to be a better
Yeah,
one. Like,
there doesn't need to be a better one.
because penis is the best, right?
Say it. Say it.
Say it.
Say it.
Say it.
Say
Fuck
it.
all of you go.
Ruthless is saying hashtag getting Nick back in school. Yes, get me back.
No,
in
give
school.
it a few seconds for the chat to catch up with the fucking bit y'all just did.
I mean, I was gonna say put Alan back in school, but he's not allowed around his school like within 20 feet. So
What?
What?
it's a molestation joke. It was just man, come on.
Trust me, we
No,
know.
man.
That's not why we were saying what.
God damn it,
Jesus
man.
Christ.
You on a roll and you somehow shot yourself. It
I'm
was amazing.
sorry. I was having a good old time, but no.
You're in a
man.
horse race, man, and say, "Hey, I'm winning." Pah!
Wait, did you say horse race?
Yes,
He's running,
when you race with horses.
He's going, he just throws his own leg under him. Just busts his ass.
Put my ass on fail army. But no, man.
Yeah.
And if I were you, I wouldn't get too fucking comfortable, Alan, because you said horse race, and I'm very, very close to using Mr. Horse for the rest of this fucking show.
Alan.
Oh, Alan. Oh, I'm going to race all over that ass, Alan. No, but here's the thing, though. People already seen the thumbnail. People know that we're going to be doing Quiplash today. So, like I said, I mean, we might get into a couple of topics, and then obviously we're going to do our Flex and Chill a lot earlier than we typically do. But then after Flex and Chill, that's it, man. I want to play some Quiplash, and I just want to chill. It's going to be awesome. We'll teach you guys how to get into the call. But I mean, we want everybody to like join what do we call that? Jackbox. And then
Jackbox TV, son.
Yeah. So people make sure to kind of get ready for that shit, the whole thing. But Mr. Ganja Guru, I haven't seen you a lot lately, and I know that you work and everything, but I also feel like maybe it's that you bought a new game, because that always fucking happens.
That's just 50-50 right now, I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, of
like,
course.
The reason I didn't join you guys earlier is I woke up, like, I usually take a nap before the show, so I'm nice and refreshed for you guys, and I'm just not dragging ass, because that tends to happen after I get out of work or just, constantly smoking all the day. So I know how to pace myself and restore myself. So what I did is I woke up a little hour earlier, and I played a shitload of fucking Wolfenstein. That's become my favorite game. I don't know why it is, because it's really, if you get down to it, it's a really standard RTS. I'm so used to talking about RTSs. So standard FPSs. And what's so good there is the story and the voice act work. It makes me appreciate the character they built upon this one guy, BJ Blazkowicz. Because in the first game, he's Alan, you played the first one. You couldn't stand by this. He's kind of a generic superhero, white boy kind of type.
Yeah,
that's standard generic. Yeah, that's 1940s generic. I'm going to save the world. I'm from Texas, boy. Whereas this one, because he's been beaten down, he's been humiliated, he's seen his friends die, he's more a grounded character this time around. So you're seeing it through more rational eyes as he's going through the Nazi experience. And it feels more personal, because when you were going in the first game, you were mostly going through Europe. And as Americans, we rarely get to travel outside of America. So now that the occupation has come home, there's more of a solidarity feeling with like how he's feeling, like seeing all of his countrymen being taken advantage of. This is probably a little bit of a spoiler, but I'm not going to reveal it. But some of the parts of the country is not usable or populated anymore.
Oh shit! Yeah, they probably blew the fuck out of some of those places.
Oh fuck yeah! So it's a great story, the great dialogue. Like, the only thing I can say is my problem with video games that are like this, and it's the same problem I had with some of the Mass Effect games and Dragon Age, is when you play these games and you get such great story work, such great dialogue, and the facial features don't kind of match up with the emotions that's being portrayed as someone that's really giving their all in the voice work, it kind of throws you off, because there's a character, Anya, and some of her animations are really weak compared to how her voice actor is really laying down her work.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, but that's the thing, man. Like, I mean, I feel like a lot of this is just kind of like getting you excited because you actually give a shit about all this, like, other, worldly fucking...
I'm a history nerd.
Huh?
I'm a history nerd like a motherfucker.
Oh yeah, that's probably why he enjoyed the story of the first one. But even to me, it's like I enjoyed a lot of the gameplay. Like, to me, the gameplay is really what stood out in the first one, because I'm like, the shooting was great, the visual aesthetics was great. Actually, how the enemies would come at you and their formations, it made the game ridiculously difficult. Like, I was dying like 10 or 15 times a mission until I was like actually starting to get it. So it's like hopefully kind of they do a little bit more of a different story, because I actually kind of like that they're going to America, because we rarely get, whenever we see these Nazi stories, we never get to see what it was like to be in America. We always see what it's like to be in Europe, because there we can get away with just bombing the entire fucking place, because who cares,
Yeah. But that's the thing though, man. Like, for me, I know it's hard. I don't like shit. I mean, like, look at Cuphead. People like talk.
Well, okay, this isn't hard for the sake of hard. Like, there are difficulties. When I say it's difficult, that's because I was playing it on the second hardest difficulty. But like, you can play it on like normal and go through it fine.
Oh no, Nick, you will never play on normal, because the game basically insults you if you try.
Oh yeah. What's it called?
The baby's the level, and it's literally your character dressed up like a baby, and then like second one's like, please daddy don't hurt me, and that's medium. Hard is like, I might be ready for this. and like the fourth one is I'm the bringer of death, and the last one is my Leben, which is I think my God in German.
Yeah, I'm not crazy. Like I will do fucking easy, but I'm not gonna do the hardest fucking difficulty. Yeah, that bullshit.
I'm sorry, but you can call me baby all you want and put me in a nice embarrassing.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like, even if you played it on baby, it's not like you'll be done it in 10 minutes, and it's not like you'll never die. It just what it is a lot of what the difficulties they do in that stuff is percentages. So if you get hit, instead of it doing like 80% of your health like it would on the hardest difficulty, it does 30%. So it's like you're still gonna die, but it's a much more reasonable challenge for someone that maybe they don't play FPSs all the time.
And much like everything, like, well, before you even continue, because by the way, did you play the new Colossus yet, Alan?
No, I haven't. I've been playing Assassin's Creed, so that's been taking my time. Okay,
but you know, Ganja, I'm gonna put this up. This is the first time that we actually have our own rating system for once, y'all. Our own rating system. I'm gonna work on it. It doesn't look that great, but right there for movies and for video games.
Magic, son.
Oh my goodness gracious! So,
all right, let me give you a quick review because I didn't really go too in it. For the FPS stuff, it was kind of basic. It's not really standout. It's really reminiscent of the new Doom remake. And a little bit of the more Wolfenstein 1, you got 2 different type of play styles. You can play tactical, especially when you get into like the harder difficulties. That's more required. Whereas in the lower difficulties, you can play as what Skull's showing off in this GIF right here is more of like that run and gun, just shoot everybody in the fucking hallway type shit.
Whereas, that's good, man.
Well, if you're good and fucking great at the hard part, you can do that as well. But more likely, you're gonna be hiding behind that corner for like 5 minutes trying to shoot everybody. But the story is what sells Wolfenstein. They did a great job with their portrayal of America. I've only played 8 hours so far, so I'm not really can't give it 100% of a good rating because I haven't finished the game, and I have to put that as a disclaimer. But from what I've seen so far, I'm very excited for it, and I highly doubt my hype for the game is going to dissipate at towards the end. Unless the end is bullshit, it probably might throw me off a little bit. But just like with Mass Effect 3, it didn't really change to how much I love the game prior to that bullshit ending. So I'm probably going to give this game a fucking, fuck it, buy it.
Yeah, but fucking buy it. Yeah, it's the worst thing. That's the best thing. No, and Ruth is actually asking because I know there's a weird little thing here, and maybe we probably need some more work on it. But he's basically asking us, like, yeah, what does streaming mean? Like, watch somebody else play it. We kind of mean in that sense too. Like, it's worth you actually viewing it, and then if you can stream it, where it kind of gets released in some type of like. I mean, man, streaming video games is becoming a new thing constantly. Like PS3, most of the libraries,
PlayStation now, stuff like that.
Yeah, and like I stream most of the games.
When you say stream it, is like YouTube it kind of thing? Like is that the idea?
Gameplay playthrough. You watch your favorite YouTuber. Don't bother your fucking money. It's not worth you to actually physically play it. Like for example, like when you watch those stupid games that High Scores plays, and it's just fun for everybody to watch, or maybe it's a multiplayer game that's just stupid to play from one segment. That's what that's for. Stream it from a YouTuber and stream it illegally if you can.
No, but also too, like as far as streaming as well, like if it does come out way later on and you just see it on some kind of thing that you can stream the actual gameplay, you don't have to pay extra for it, then I think it's worth your time.
Like Gamefly.com, where we bring to you your games.
Okay, so like if you have a subscription to like Xbox Play or whatever, then you can like,
Xbox Play, PlayStation Now, any sort of online streaming service. It's essentially a place where it's like you don't have to directly pay for it, but you can still like actually get your hands on it.
Yeah, if it's just on there, bam, just watch it or do whatever the fuck you want with it. I don't know, but yeah,
it's very simple. Come on,
you said buy it, and yeah, I mean for me, I never played the first one, but this game does look really fucking good. And I mean even Skull, I don't know why everything that Skull says I hold so much to it because he hates fucking everything. But this dude,
he's one of those people like he's such a contrarian, like not a contrarian. He's such heavy in his criticism that when he likes something and as you can tell it's really something he enjoys, you really tend to look at it more because he's the type of person to say fuck everything. I think Skull's the type of person that you do a poll and says, "Does everybody love mom?" He write in, "Fuck that bitch."
Yeah, exactly. And I will say, like, yeah, Skull. I mean, he says the story is amazing, and that's something that I'm kind of like, you know, dude, that means a lot to me. At the same time, I'm a dude who just wants to blow shit up, and it seems like this game has that as well. So,
but I gotta put a warning. Sometimes the gameplay does feel tedious to the story. It's got a little bit of a Metal Gear feel with it, where you want to see the next cutscene more because it built you up so hype that you rather not just go through like 10 AIs and kill them. Exactly. So there is that. That's a little bit of a problem.
But here's the thing. On top of this, though, because now I'm gonna get this away. It's gone. Now, here's the thing, though. You are loving this game, but yet everything has to be fucking ruined somehow. There's always some kind of social war on fucking line. I don't get it.
Here we go.
Yeah, here we go.
Dumbest one ever.
Yeah, so please explain this to me.
What is it?
No, but yeah, like I didn't understand any of this, Ganja. So walk me through this, man. Like, what's going on with people on social media, like just fucking the protesting and things like that.
Okay, basically what it is I can't believe this fucking happened, but if you click on the link itself, Vice is doing a show tonight, I think the same time as we are right now, that they're talking to Bethesda about the Wolfenstein 2 Nazi controversy. Because apparently now you got to feel bad for how Nazis feel about how you portray them in video games. And I don't know why that's a problem.
Welcome to the last 35 years of video games.
Like, to the point that this is the head of Bethesda's, he's the VP of the PR and marketing campaign. And you say fuck him, but he literally said, yeah, I don't really care if this game makes Nazis mad. Fuck them, they're Nazis.
Oh, no. By all means, he's in the right saying fuck Nazis, but that guy's generally up his own ass, so that's why I say fuck him. Oh, he's all the time just spouting his fucking opinion when no one wants to fucking hear it.
Oh, so this is not something like a smart move made by a PR company like the company.
This is a normal thing for this guy.
Okay, this is like Peter Molyneux coming out hyping up Wolfenstein over.
No, because Peter Molyneux lies his ass off. That guy.
No, that's what I'm saying. They know what they're known for.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because, I mean, like, as I'm looking at this fucking dude, for one, I don't know why, and I'm not trying to judge a dude by his fucking look or whatever, but it's just kind of like, I can tell you realize the social climate that you're in, and you're just trying to make a fucking big deal, so somehow someone talks about you when discussing Wolfenstein, the new Colossus. Why was this not an issue with the first fucking Wolfenstein a while ago? I mean, you know what I mean? Like, and then there's
trendy. Developer actually came out and said, I think it was the head creative, Nick, actually came out and said it, like, when they were making the game series, like, the first time around. And they didn't think that in America they would have legit Nazis doing a rally at some point. So they couldn't predict the actual social climate that was going to happen when this game became a release. And it so happens to coincide with, what happened, I think, about, 3-4 months ago in Charlottesville?
It's one of those things that always happens, and it only happens because a popular product exists. Like when was it PETA or was it another group that was protesting the Lego movie with oil spills, that kind of shit. It's like, this is kind of something that's been brewing in the background, but because Wolfenstein 2 is popular, trending, it's sensationalism. It's like, oh, let's jump on this, not because our point would have stands on its own, but because nobody would have cared about it yesterday, but they care about it today because Wolfenstein gets released today.
Well, not only that, but Bethesda kind of was fucking around a little bit. I think if you show the pictures for their advertising campaign that I put inside the doc,
yeah, because this is insane.
They kind of were pushing a little bit because if you scroll up, it says "Make America Nazi Free Again," which we all know is a clear correlation with "Make America Great Again." That was the kind of Trump logo that we saw in the campaign.
Yeah.
Man, I hate that shit. I've seen that everywhere. Every fucking show ever has a "Let's make yada yada great again." I'm just like, every fucking show is doing it now. Like, it's fucking ridiculous, man.
Yeah, and me, I'm in a situation too. Like, I'm not trying to defend the shit or anything either, but I know, like, not just like, oh shit, whatever the fuck, but it's just kind of like, people are. I feel like that was kind of cheap, almost in a way. Like, in a sense, like, okay, like, obviously you're saying anti-Nazi shit, so right away, woo, you got me, fuck yeah, I'm into this, and it's like, you almost deserve to have some kind of comeback. Like, I honestly don't have no fucking sympathy for neo-Nazis or fucking Nazi sympathizers.
That goes without saying.
I don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? Like, honestly,
no, it doesn't anymore. Like, you made the joke in the chat. Ruthless taking a hard stance on Nazis. We have to actually say this shit now.
Like, okay, sorry. I'm gonna start fucking ranting right now. Why do we have to say this shit?
Yeah, fuck Nazis. I don't give a fuck
about it. Like, what's up next? Fucking pedophiles are gonna start forming their own fucking groups together and start having conversations? Like,
yeah, no, I'm sorry, but like, I'll risk getting in trouble for saying fuck Nazis. I don't give a fuck. Like,
I mean, man, you know what? I hate anybody that murders people without a cause. Like,
yeah,
you're supposed to.
Yeah, that's kind of how that works. Yeah.
Not only that, like that's one of the things I kind of want to pose to you guys. Do you think like they kind of were taking advantage of the climate we're in right now, trying to get more game sales? The fact that there is this kind of right versus left big thing going on.
Maybe in the advertisement, but if you're trying to say the entire fucking game was built off this, no, because games take years to develop, and the ideas and what they're doing is built over years upon years of work. Was this tweet directly related to the stuff? Of course, because it's kind of a buzz line, and I really hate how often they use the whole "make yada yada great again." Right. But the whole game itself, like Ruthless pointing out in the chat, has always been about, BJ Blazkowicz murdering a bunch of Nazis, and this is just them doing alternate history because they want to tell an interesting story within this universe of an alternate storyline. They didn't just do what the other Wolfenstein games do, where it's like, let's just do this again in the same place. Like, no, we are expanding this universe that we wanted to create.
And this is
they did this because they want to.
Yeah, this is no different than when I get mad about those Trump jokes like at Dave Chappelle, George Lopez concerts and shit. I fucking hate that shit. It's like Dave Chappelle and George Lopez are two really smart comedians.
Right.
You need to give me a reason to spend fucking hundreds of dollars to go see you just talk. You can't just go in there and say some shit that I can be like, hey, Justin, what do you feel about Trump? He sucks. Well, then pay Justin a shitload of money then. He did better than fucking George Lopez, right? You know what I mean? Like, it's one of those things, but, you know.
It's the advertisement of the game, which is that's just a tweet, versus what the actual content of the game is. And the content of the game would have been the same if it came out last year, if it came out next year. Because, again, games aren't made. It's not like oh, this comedian just, learned about Trump yesterday. It's like, games aren't made in a month or 2 months. They take, 2-3 years minimum to even get off the ground before they can show anything. So it's like this stuff's already set in stone. It just happened to coincide exactly when essentially what the game is depicting. It's almost like life imitating art.
No,
true, there's no way they could have known this would happen.
I think too what that guy's issue was, and once again, not apologizing for the guy or defending him, but I think his issue was like this is the advertisement. Like, I'm pretty sure even the guys who made the video game were not planning on this particular thing over here, like being so on the forefront. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
This is obviously people just taking advantage of like the no more Nazis hashtag. Like, for one, like, you're basically, it has nothing to do with the video game. You know what I mean? Like, nothing at all. It's just, that's fucked up. It's like you're trying to be mentioned. Like, it's Wolfenstein. I mean, honestly, I don't think anyone who's really dealing with some serious racism and serious fucking like back and forth with Nazis, no one's stopping and saying, hey, by the way, Wolfenstein. This game is trying to be part of that conversation,
No, but the thing is, you're making it seem like they kind of came out of nowhere. Like, when the first trailers were coming out, people were getting angry. For some fucking reason, there are groups of people out there getting angry because of the anti-Nazi propaganda that Bethesda was doing. So the moment they were advertising this game as just, hey, we're doing a sequel to Wolfenstein, people were already putting their own politics on there. So this is a response to people already giving them shit. It's not like they just jumped in the conversation. They were already dragged in there because of fucking idiots.
Yeah, and it just sucks that this is even being taken seriously.
Well, not even that. Like, people, like, the one thing that I've been seeing the common complaint is that apparently one of the groups you work with within the video game are like a Black Panther-esque type group. There's even one point that one of the main characters has a Free Huey pin. And that correlates with what's going on in the 60s. A lot of people forget civil rights was just popping off late 50s, early 60s, and late on to the 70s. And this was maybe at the height of it happening in America. So it makes sense that it's correlating with the biggest Nazi regime coming to America, who's anti-minority groups. Of course, you would see a more radicalized version of the Black Panthers or any of those minority groups that were just looking for basic voter rights in the 60s, now having to deal with a Nazi occupation. And they really go out their way, Nick, with like making a lot of the stuff historically accurate. Like, there's one point where BJ Blazkowicz is actually talking to a communist member that he's trying to get his party to start in the revolution with, and they have a whole debate of whether, how the communists were fucking up pre-war, how the people that, like BJ, who didn't care about politics before the Nazis came about, they were fucking up. And it's a great debate and a great argument between the two over a bottle of moonshine, which I really appreciate as a character scene.
That's the thing. A lot of what's going on in the chat. It's like, you can't sit there and there are very few things in history that are objective. And as far as Nazis being, not fucking particularly good people, that is an objective fact. That's not something you can brush aside or rewrite in history. Now, as far as the viewpoints, yes, the viewpoint of them being the bad guys, because guess what? When a bad guy exists in a video game, the point is to make them bad. So it's like Nazi is the perfect bad guy, because it's like, who the fuck has sympathy for this kind of shit?
And to equate, I'm sorry.
Yeah. No. Just to end it off. If this was if you're trying to do a perspective from their point of view, which I think we should do at some point, trying to show them in a different light is something you can do. But this isn't what this game is doing.
I want to equate this cinematically too, because I know Justin's a big guy in cinema and things like that. But like you, man, I'm looking at the chat right now too, and I don't necessarily. I mean, it's a whole lot to read from both of you guys' standpoints. Kind of what we were just saying either.
Yeah, I posted a bunch of stuff that I can sum it up if you want me to.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm not, and again, I think this controversy is overblown because, it's a game all about mowing down Nazis. That's the whole premise of the game. They're just tackling on a trendy topic right now. So it's just stupid that we're making a big fuss about it because we knew going in what it was going to be about anyway. So, but
do you think it's insulting, or do you think they shouldn't be going in that particular route, or?
It just is what it is. I mean, they're trying to sell it to as many people, and the reason why it's going to be a huge seller is because it's trendy to talk about games that mow down shooting Nazis because people want to act out their crazy murder fantasies. You know,
and I want to show that I do have the ability to kind of
Man.
see where somebody else is coming from too. So I'm just gonna give you a shot, and don't feel uncomfortable. Like it's all, even Alan, all of us. It's just all agree that we won't freak out and you know, whatever. But Justin, like when I say something as insane as like fuck Nazis, because I'm sorry, I know I say things that are kind of bad sometimes, but when I say that, do you feel like maybe I'm talking out of line or maybe I'm going too far? What do you feel about me saying that? And Ruthless saying that, for instance.
Well, I mean, Ruthless is going all the way like that. I mean, and my point is, you know, okay, I'm trying to find it crazy because my whole thing, I understand Nazism is bad, you know, in the sense that trying to propagate hate, trying to propagate terror or whatever to, to victimize people, that is wrong. I will never, ever defend that. I think my problem is I try to come at things from a humanistic view. And, you know, I pointed out a couple examples in the chat there. You know, I actually was just watching because I bought Fury, you know, used recently, and you know that movie with the tank squadrons, that stuff.
Yeah, Fury.
So
That was a great movie.
one of the things I found was very. Oh, you hate it? Okay.
We'll talk about it later. Wait, go ahead.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I wasn't crazy about it either. But one of the things that did kind of bug me a little bit is that the movie really, really wants you to hate Nazis. Of course, you know, of course, obviously. Like, to the point where they're forcing a dude to shoot a Nazi who clearly doesn't want to kill anybody, but then they're saying, like, no, it's good for you because if you shoot a Nazi, suddenly you become a better soldier. And then it's like, yeah, I freaking hate Nazis.
You got the wrong thing from that movie, dude.
No,
Like,
I watched that movie several times. But here's the thing, So then in the ending, there's the bit where the guy escapes from the battle because all the other people in the squad die. Sorry, spoilers. But it's important to the discussion here.
Tell you the movie.
I know. But the problem is then there's that bit at the end when they show the Nazi who could have ratted him out, you know, because he was hiding in the spot under the tank, and the guy decides not to, and he leaves. So in a way, you can argue then we are humanizing Nazis. Is that wrong on the filmmaker's part to show a scene where a Nazi decides not to be a bad guy, but he's still just a bad guy because of his ideology?
Now,
you know,
I'm going to actually have Allie respond to that. Allie, what do you feel about that?
I'm sorry.
She was involved with her own little debate in the chat right
Yeah.
There's a bunch of shit going on right now.
Yeah. Well, like, I mean, basically in the sense of, like, do you feel like what Justin just said about, like, you know, when they're humanizing Nazis in a certain particular spot in the movie, maybe it's like, I mean, it's more towards, like, almost like a climax. I know it's not the climax, but it's kind of towards there.
Well, no, because it's the ending, but that's the point I'm making is that we've showed this movie where it's like, it's okay to mow down scores of Nazis, you know, like dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of Nazis all throughout that movie in graphic ways. But then we have to, like, is it the filmmaker's wrong to say, here's one Nazi who decided to do a good thing and not let this one guy die? You know,
that's the thing, man. You're getting the complete opposite view of that movie because that movie isn't that, oh, hey, gung ho America. It's actually the opposite of, like, this is such.
When you get criticism of them,
like when you're actually criticism, not so much criticism of war, but like that this is the reality that they have to face, that they don't have the option on both sides. That America, like when you're like, because he's like, it's like his first day, he doesn't have the choice to be an innocent. It's either he kills the enemy or the enemy kills him. That's his entire fucking reality, and that's what the entire movie's trying to show. The ending is actually showing that on the other side, it's the same thing. It's their reality. You either kill the enemy or you get shot. That is the entire basis of the movie.
That wasn't my point. The point is that their attempt to humanize a Nazi character. Because I can name other movies that have bigger examples where they show Nazis not being, you know, masochistic, evil people, but yet we're supposed to. That seems wrong in the eyes of a lot of people because, like, oh, we need to, you know, we cannot humanize, we cannot sympathize with Nazis. We need to gun them down, punch them in the face, do whatever because they're not people.
Yeah, and I mean,
I get ideology speaks louder than. Yeah.
Well, that's one of the things that's even good about Wolfenstein. They actually not take part in it. They actually what is it? They actually mention it about how Nazis actually turned over and started fighting for the resistance group. I remember there's one character very vividly. I forget the character's name, but he takes care of a mentally handicapped German named Max Haas, who's a character in the second one.
Oh yeah,
and I think his name's Klaus. Yeah, his name's Klaus. And basically, he was a proud German. I think he was like in the SSS, high-ranking official within the Wolfenstein game and their history, where he had a child that was born with a leg deformity. And through all his rank and his work to the loyalty to the Reich, he couldn't save his child because how vicious their policy was as a government, as a state. So he turns against the Nazis, seeing how all the morality and all the stuff that they talk good about society gets thrown out the window, even for one of their own, when it comes to innocent people that have no control over how they're born or how they're they grow and develop, and then he joins the resistant groups down to the point that he takes care of a mentally retarded person that's in the game.
Yeah. No, and I say that, on that same note too, there's even movies like Literacy Wajima, which try to humanize the Japanese soldiers who, by all extents, Japan at that time is Nazism. They were just in a very different nationalistic attitude, not so much racism as it was just imperialistic, power and that stuff.
Well, that's why we don't hate the Japanese as much as the Germans.
But that's the thing. It's like we try to pick, we pick sides, we try to draw lines, but then in that attempt, even showing Japanese who did abandon Japan and decide to join the U.S. Army, trying to show them as people, flawed people with mixed ideologies, but people nonetheless. So I think that's just the problem then is how much do we let our nationalistic urges say oh yeah, we hate Nazis, because it is nationalism in a way. Us, trying to campaign of fighting Nazis. It is on one way a moral and ethical problem.
I disagree because nationalism usually comes from one race trying to defend itself or one culture, whereas when you look at the anti-Nazi movements, a lot of them are more international in scope. They're more
it's
more
still
groups.
culture. It's still culture. What you're saying though.
Well, no, it's because nationalism is one focused culture. That's why you have, nationalism sometimes becomes a dangerous thing because it's more rah-rah of a certain history, a certain type of people within that country. Like when we went through our American nationalism in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, and we did a lot of crazy stuff because of that. This is more of an international thing where more cultures that see the threat of Nazism and the ideology of self threatened to them. Like Ruth was saying, the ideology is dangerous because in the end, it wants to eliminate everyone different than the one that's approved as an Aryan or whoever, because you also have fascists in Spain and South America that came around and they had their own idea of a Hispanic one race. So every group kind of has that development.
As a guy who actually had grandparents who fought for fascist Spain, I have some different perspectives on that, knowing what the communists did to my family. So it's not it's not just fascist. There's flaws in all ideological viewpoints.
True, but the fascist ideology is always about supremacy and about the constant growth of war for the industrial base. Especially when you look into the tenets of fascism, it's always going to take an authoritarian, sectarian kind of policy because that's where it gets idolized by those type of people because it's so heavily ultra-nationalistic and heavily militarily.
All ideologies are supremacy. They're all about getting power.
I disagree.
Yeah, I mean, I actually don't even want to do this show now. I just want to watch you guys talk.
No, this is a good discussion. I really respect God's opinion.
Look, at the end of the day, to bring this all back to what the hell it is, it all depends on the medium in which you want to actually discuss this. Exactly. When you're taking something like Wolfenstein, the entire point of it isn't necessarily to humanize the enemy. The enemy is there as the source of conflict. They could have easily just been, a random sect. It could have easily just been Japan. It could have easily been whatever. What is the story of Wolfenstein trying to do? It's showcasing the enemy that was relevant, that did have those views, that did do those fucked up things, and also trying to showcase the world in which they created. That's what the story is trying to do. This isn't a Netflix documentary.
No, but I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I would also like to equate that to situations like this. People look into obviously this Resident Evil 5, the whole thing. And
yeah.
And I mean, Alan, maybe you can just I'll let you talk about this too as well, because that's the thing is it's one of the situations where what Alan's saying, it's okay for there to be some kind of some people actually do think this way, and yes, it's bad to kill black people in a video game, but you have to realize there is context to everything. This situation has nothing really to do about killing black people. This is a situation where it's it's a video game. This is the world you're put in. That's what you have to do. It's one of the situations where it's a video game at the end of the day. Wolfenstein might have some kind of message, might have some kind of character that has certain thoughts or certain quotes and things that he does, etc., ideologies, but it's a fucking video game.
But that's the thing, at the end of the day, when you look back, and sure, Gonzo will back me up on this, whenever people did plays, whenever people did any sort of poetry, it was always to have a message. It was always to try to teach the people through entertainment. Because at the end of the day, it's that's what we crave. As humans, we crave some sort of entertainment to take us away from the normal toils of daily life. And in that sense, we often get a message of a form of morality. Now, not saying that every video game ever is trying to teach you a lesson, but the idea that no video game should ever try, I don't believe that. Certain video games do. I haven't played Wolfenstein, so I can't say if what they're trying to do is, teach anything. But I could see what they're trying to do in that sense of trying to showcase some kind of message. But a lot of people, is they take the wrong messages, or they don't like the fact that they're maybe they think like you, they're well, I'm playing a video game. Why are you trying to teach me anything?
Right.
Exactly, and it gets to a situation too where now, I mean, everyone should actually look at PETA and see how much they take things too far in situations. Too,
Yeah.
Man, I didn't know how much war they declared on different video game companies.
Yeah.
How about on basic science? Before y'all get into the video game, like they have literally no idea what they're talking about, telling people not to take insulin because it comes from pigs, which is something that hasn't happened in 20 fucking years. They always do this sensationalist bullshit and have no basis for anything they fucking do.
Yeah.
What, are they bringing Mennonites?
No, but like it's something as crazy as this. Like, I mean, I never thought anyone wanted to go to war with a fucking cute little Pikachu. But I mean, you know, like the whole the dogfighting thing. You know,
Look at
what I mean?
that little cute revolutionary Pokemon right there. Look at that.
I mean, like I can't believe it, like it's They also did that with because again we're talking about this like the whole Nazi controversy. We're like, okay, when is the last time something this crazy happened over something kind of this stupid? And the first thing that popped into my head was PETA versus Mario. Because they're like, oh man, Mario just promotes, you know, the murder of children, murder of animals and shit, so they can take their skins and stuff.
Oh, no. This was big, Justin, that they actually came out and did a mini game. I didn't post that in there because I didn't want to fuck around with the YouTube setting. But there's actually a mini game where you play as the raccoon that got skinned, looking for Mario to throw those hands at him.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I mean, God, I just like to call on Nintendo for fur wearing Mario, like.
All the time, and it's just like all they do is they jump on a bandwagon. They're like, it's bad, and then when you look back at how many animals they fucking murder and the stances that they fucking have, and I know this entire discussion is about don't lump people together, but fuck PETA. That is my official fucking stance. Fuck PETA.
No, and I think the main point, I think the ultimate point again, we're saying people should know going in what Wolfenstein is about. Wolfenstein's purpose: you get Nazis who are bad guys and you kill them. There's really no.
Not even that. Like most of the people that are complaining about this controversy, they're ignorant from the storyline because there's constant people that are within the story that realized evil and what's going on within the Nazi Reich, and they constantly join the revolution. And they're pure-blood Germans as far as the game is considered, and they constantly help the revolution itself. They even touch on it when the character is literally the daughter of the second command of Hitler. And she is just basically learning how to basically out-teach her out of the ways of being a Nazi. And they do touch on that.
Yeah, so, I mean, I don't know, man. It's just one of those situations where I'm just like, can we just all just still kind of stand the idea of, like, it's just a video game. It's just, like, I wish PETA and, like, the people that complain about this whole thing with Wolfenstein would actually just go out and, like, do shit. Like, I mean, granted, I want the fucking Nazi apologists to do shit. But at the same time, it's like, if you went out there...
Think about that call to action a little more.
No,
I know what he's getting at.
No, but it's just like one of those situations, like, you know, if you went out there and, like, spread... Because the thing is, he's not saying, like, man, it's fucked up. Like, we should kill the people who hate the video game. Like, he's basically kind of saying, like, no, like, Nazis aren't that bad. Show us. Go out there and be a Nazi who doesn't kill. Like,
okay, yeah. So basically, what you're saying is to not, you know, support Nazism. If you're going to be outraged, do something about it so that you can show people the other way.
Yeah, like I mean,
I don't agree with that either.
Man, I'm trying to help him, man. I see him in a hole, and he's pouring gasoline on himself. I'm like trying to wish.
I'm sitting here, I'm like, hold on a second. Yeah, but if you humanize Nazis to that point, you're gonna make their ideology a lot more appealing. I don't think we want that.
But the thing is, it's just like every time you see like, and here's the thing too, because I always try to do that thing. I actually yell at Ganja a lot behind the scenes when I say things like, "Hey, man, let's not say too much fuck Trump stuff because there might be a person who likes Trump that's watching this, and I want to make them go away and feel bad, make them feel like they're not taken seriously, etc." But what's annoying that makes it hard for us to do that is you'll go and see those videos of the Trump rallies and the outright things and the neo-Nazi fucking rallies. And these people are fucking crazy. Like, I'm sorry, but yeah, like, they're fucking crazy. You know what I mean? Just yelling.
Just saying, Nick, though, I've seen videos of people on the opposite side doing things that the Trump rally people would do, so it's not exclusive to one group.
Oh, true. No, I understand that, too. But, I mean, more so.
These motherfuckers are crazy, and they're making everybody look bad on either side. But let's just say, what get more hits with motherfuckers at the Trump rallies? Because those motherfuckers are crazy.
No, because I've seen...
everyone's crazy, but those guys are crazy.
My thing is, like, just because both sides use violence, they're not necessarily the same because the ideologies are different. Like, violence that they do is very, like, in the riot sense, and is not good for society. It's not even good for their fucking political point at the end of the day, because there's no point to it. It's just bashing people that want to be bashed and want to get in a fight. It's basically giving it to the fascist ideology. They want to fight people of the left. They want to do that. They train their whole lives. They join militia groups. You're giving into their fetishism of fighting the left and taking on the establishment, quote unquote. Yeah. So a lot of those guys like Antifa and stuff, they're not really organized with their thought process on taking on Nazis. And the only time I've really seen them do good when it comes to their violent methods is I think there was a group of pastors, and Cornel West was one of them, that got surrounded by some of the more violent parts of the alt-right protest, and they were threatened to beat them and basically, possibly kill them depending on who you talk to. And Antifa actually came and circled around them and got them out of the scenario. He's even talked about it in interviews himself.
Yeah, and I mean, like I said, man, like I don't want to like talk shit about this whole side and everything too. And I understand there's bad from both. I mean, everyone's honestly, this whole fucking planet needs to get a big fucking missile. But the thing is, though,
hey, Beer might help you out with that one.
What a fucking world, man. Where a PR agent has to go, I have to sit here and tell people Nazis are bad.
But the thing is, though, I'm just saying, like, one of those situations where still, if you're on a side like Nazis, where all you do is do this one particular thing over and over again, where it's all just negative fucking energy and just negative words you're saying, etc. Yeah, you're gonna be looked at a certain way. And I'm not saying that dude that you were talking about, Ganja, the one that was complaining about Wolfenstein, maybe this dude, I mean, he sounds soft anyway. He's just like, oh god, this video game, he sounds like a dude who doesn't fucking create violence. At the same time, though, he's picking a side that's extremely violent and extremely, like, hyperbolic and fucking crazy. So, I don't know. Fuck all y'all. Like, I mean, you just want to but on video games, though, still, Mr. Allen's like, oh, can we please talk about something that doesn't have me at the edge of my fucking seat here? Like, I don't know what the hell.
A situation where we got to fulfill the ethical ramifications of a fucking group that's entire thing is just to kill as many people as humanly possible.
Well, see, you play a character in the game that you just played where you just kill a bunch of people too. So explain that, Mr. Allen. What do you do in your room at night with the lights off?
Yeah, you violent psycho.
I play a game in which it's an option and it's usually used for the the freeing and the helping of other people, and you could choose whether or not you actually want to kill, or you could just sneak around and actually not kill a single person, which is usually the playthroughs I play in Assassin's Creed, where strategic or not. Oh yeah, because it's a lot. Like, okay. Anyway, just to get off of that, what I'm playing is, and I got a chance to finally. I was super excited for this because I've been playing this, all year. I finally got a chance to play Assassin's Creed Origins, and I'm having a great fucking time with it. Like, right from the get-go, where I'm just like, just to start off with the graphics, like, it looks fucking incredible. I'm playing this on PC. I'm having no real issues, and it's running fucking great. The movement feels incredible. The combat. They straight up said, fuck it, we're doing redoing the combat, and it feels very similar to, if any of you guys have ever played For Honor, where it feels like, not so much in the way you attack, but in the way your movement, where you can kind of move side to side, you do shield bashes, you have your lock-ons. Like, it feels very like a similar version to For Honor. The movement is all solid, and the level design is incredible. Like, we were just wandering around in the open world, and we're just seeing all of this Egyptian beauty, all of this just, like, imagery.
I said Egyptian booty.
And Egyptian booty. And
man, I picture Cleopatra in my head.
Dude, I got to meet Cleopatra, man, and the first thing she says is like, I will sleep with any man. As long as he agrees the next day, he will be executed. That's how they introduce her.
How good is that ass, or how bad is
I was
that in
just
general?
that shit. She might got the juice.
Oh man, but one of my favorite things ever is I was playing that, and 90s was watching me, and he saw like a wall, and it had all this hieroglyphics. He's like, oh man, I love this artwork. It's like telling a story. I'm like, man, that could be a stop sign for all we fucking know. We don't know what the hell this is. This is a normal world, and we made it just like, oh man, that entire thing just says don't park after 6. Like, we see it as such like this incredible, like, oh man, look at this beauty in the story. But the way the game makes it feel like it's just a normal day, it's just a normal life. It reminds me a lot of Assassin's Creed 1 with a lot of how everyone's all merchants and stuff, and they're all kind of, they're all selling stuff, and you get to go to various merchants, do all these sorts of quests and stuff, help them get stuff. And I'm just like, I'm loving this kind of really open world setting. Like, it's incredible. I'm having a great fucking time with it.
Yeah, man.
No, I've actually heard very, very good reviews for it, so that sounds really exciting.
Yeah, man. No, so with that said, it's time to bring up that little yo.
Ooh.
So here's the thing, man. I know that you're kind of sick of these Ubisoft games and Assassin's Creed coming out with sequel after sequel after sequel, the whole thing. So, oh wait, no.
No, I mean, I know everyone else on the planet.
I thought you were normal. What the fuck?
No, Alan is the defender.
I'm gonna say this straight up. I've had issue with Brotherhood, but I've honestly enjoyed every Assassin's Creed I've ever played. Wow. Each one of them gives me different issues, but honestly, I've had a great time because when I play an open world game, which is my favorite genre, I love exploring. I love like just wandering in a different direction, maybe seeing some sort of collectible, or seeing some sort of area I can kind of explore, or in some cases, fight off bandits if I feel like it, depending on the game. I love exploring, and Assassin's Creed is always giving me that sense of I'm not just running into a forest, but I get to climb buildings. I get to see this incredible environment. When you're walking through, and I was sending pictures to people, it's like when you're walking through and like all the way in the distance, you see this huge city. It's not just a JPEG. It's actually like you can go there and explore. Right. I love that. And that's what I've always loved about the Assassin's Creed. Some of them have issues, obviously, but I've always enjoyed it. And Ruthless Asking, I enjoyed 3. I actually did for the most part. I do have a lot of issues.
Fuck you.
Okay. Was that game flawed? Yes, but I still enjoyed a lot of the game, especially outside the Animus. Inside the Animus definitely needed a lot of work, especially with the main character. But until the main character grew up, I kind of liked how they incorporated some of that stuff. How it was his powers weren't something that was weird. It was a normal part of his life. I enjoyed that, actually. And God has given me the stink eye.
Man, fuck you. The only Native American character we got since fucking Turok, and they fucked that game up.
I still enjoyed what I played, and yes, it's obviously not. It doesn't even rank on my favorite ones, like not even close. I still have the other ones, but yeah. And with this, it's like, yeah, this brings back to what I like. I like the exploring. I like the going around and jumping all over the place. I like the stealthy approach where I'm kind of sitting there thinking, like, how do I want to do this? Do I want to strategically drop bodies to have people go there, or do I kind of want to hang on the side and avoid conflict entirely until I reach my target? And I get that.
To ride a fucking camel.
I get to ride a camel, man. I was like, it's so weird because even though this is like way before anything close to the language that I understand, some of the words I would just kind of hear and be like, oh shit, I actually kind of understood that in my native language. So I was actually kind of enjoying that too. I'm like, I'm really loving this aesthetic because what I love about these Assassin's Creed series is they always go to different places that no one's ever set a game in, and this is right up in there. Like, it's an environment that really, like, you maybe name 2 or 3 games and a few maps in some first-person shooters, but can you really name a game that's set entirely in Egypt? Not just a level, not just a part of a part of an environment. Straight up, the entire place is Egypt. And honestly, I'd go with a buy it. If you like Black Flag, which is what a lot of people are comparing to, and I'll compare it to it, it is just like Black Flag, but a lot more going on.
Now, here's the thing. You said and buy it. I'm surprised, but, I mean, I'm glad that you like it. But here's the thing, though. Allie!
Yo.
Now, see, on your channel, you were doing Brotherhood, Assassin's Creed Syndicate, and you didn't like that, and I'm pretty sure you didn't like 3. Am I correct in that assessment?
I like parts of 3, but like the ending is awful.
Yeah, and everything. I'll agree with that.
Yeah, and I just
the ending is awful, and the lead character is awful.
Yeah, the main character, I didn't care.
Obviously, y'all didn't hang out with enough Native Americans growing up. Some of them are stoic like that.
I had a buddy of mine that was Native when I was a kid.
But overall, though, because Allie, like, that's the thing. Like, you play most of these games. Granted, you didn't play this newest one or whatever. But I was going to ask you, since I do have this thing up, and I never did ask you this before, and I don't think there's ever going to be a case where we're all going to sit back and review the entire franchise of Assassin's Creed. So, Allie, I'm going to ask you, in the whole, everything that you played from Assassin's Creed, the franchise as a whole, what would you rate that, actually? Like, with our rating system. Would you rent these games? Would you recommend to stream them, buy them, or fuck them?
Dang. I'm trying to, like, balance out each game. I would say, for the most part, I would say rent.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, there are some, like, a lot of the games are great. Like, the Ezio trilogy is worth playing. I mean, Black Flag is a great game. And, I mean, Syndicate's not bad. I just found it really uninteresting. But it's not a bad game at all. And, I mean, from what Alan's telling me, it seems like this new one's going to be, really good too. But, so yeah, I would still, like, because I love period pieces. I love anything set in history. So, like, being able to play a game, going to different parts of time, it's really interesting to me. Not all that interested in the magic stuff or whatever the stuff happening, like, in a modern day, but I'd still say, yeah, it's definitely worth people's time to play.
Yeah, so. I mean, I just bought Black Flag recently because it was on sale, and I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to be playing that soon. But since I'm already behind with this new Assassin's Creed, I'm like, fuck, can I just fucking stay on top of it?
You don't have to worry about that. Assassin's Creed, the Black Flag you picked up is it connects, but it's not like you need to play. A lot of the games after 3, you don't really need to play in a succession to understand the next game. It just kind of helps as an overall whole.
Well, that's because they said screw the main story. They're just like, what's his name?
Yeah.
Dead. Who cares?
Besides me, nobody. But Yeah.
No, but yeah, man, no. So I mean, I don't know. For me, here's the thing, man. I mean, I'm not gonna be reviewing this today at all, but I haven't played the Raiden fucking DLC for Injustice 2.
Oh,
Maybe
yeah.
when we come back from New York, we'll play that and then I'll rate that and stuff. But I do want to do some more video game reviews on this, show and everything too. So if anybody feels like they want to like complete a game and give us some kind of rating to come on, almost like a Flex and Chill type thing,
Right.
let us know and do that shit soon. So when we start doing this, everyone can join. Like that includes your ass too, Justin.
I have one I could do quickly.
What's up?
Go ahead, do it real quick.
I finished the South Park game the other day.
Oh,
Of
nice.
course you fucking did, you sack of shit. I'm joking.
All right, last night, thank you, everybody.
No.
But, no.
God
No.
We had a
damn.
character named Nick, and
No, you and Ganja, I pick on you guys because you guys like South Park so much, and I'm hyperbolic when it comes to that shit. But it's all.
Here's the thing: I'm not an avid South Park watcher. I only watch it like occasionally because one of my best friends, he has watched every episode of South Park 3 times and the movies.
oh,
and
you met
played-
Julian?
that level. But yeah, the new game, which is the Fractured Butthole. But basically, I mean, I gotta say this: it's mostly if you play Stick of Truth, you played Fractured Butthole. The only main difference is that it's actually less gross than the first game was.
Yeah.
Where the first one had those the testicles crushing people and the Nazi baby fetus monsters. But this one, it's a lot less crazy. Like it still has crazy stuff, but it's not trying to gross you out or make you feel like, oh gosh, why did I watch that?
You could definitely tell it wasn't the case of like, oh, this is our first time making a video game. Let's go all out.
Oh,
Yeah.
man. Oh, God, this reminds me of something. Ganja was telling me, describe what happens when you go to Canada.
Oh, Justin, you probably played this from the first game, but for the audience that doesn't know, and to our lovely Canadian audience, and I know we have you guys, you watch avidly, and we see you guys in analytics. We love you, especially Ireland. Shout out to you guys real quick. Also, so when you go to Canada, you get a passport, you go through the border. The whole game is really well done. It's in the style of the show, and it's got, it doesn't look like graphics, but compare what they're actually doing by able to portray the show 100% between cutscenes and gameplay is really graphically well done for something this very not simplistic, but very it's very well done in the sense that the animation is great. There's not at one point that you see any of the moves or any of the specials and you're like, that doesn't fit the character or it doesn't fit the show. But when you get to Canada for some reason, you end up in a 16-bit land where they play Oh Canada and bit music, and everyone talks like they're an RPG to the point where you go to the store and it's like, hey buddy, want to spend your American dollars here?
Okay, that's
Man.
actually nice though.
That made me mad. You know why? Because
Why?
Ubisoft is a Canadian fucking developer. And they're making fun of Canada.
so,
the game.
so they know Canada's kind of like that. Like,
The best part is when I met the Prince and Princess of Canada, which I actually had to ask Alan, is there a Prince and Princess of Canada? Because I didn't know. Because I know they're under the Queen still, which that confused me. So I didn't know if there was still Princess and Princess of Canada. So when I met the Princess and Princess, so buddy, we need you to go get rid of the bishop down in Ottawa. Oh, cool! I'm visiting Alan.
Again,
no, so
made
basically,
in Canada.
yeah, no, it just plays off running gags they've done with Canada in the show. I mean, which is in itself is a huge joke parody. I mean,
Yeah, I know, but
and
it's
this-
made by Canadian developers. That's what bothers me.
well, but it's made by Matt and Trey. So, and it's also funny because in this game, Canada, they're just like, nope, sorry, you can't go in. There's a giant wall blocking you from Canada.
Yep.
So,
oh.
yeah,
Sorry, I
no,
missed
that
that
was
part.
funny. Now, I will say, yeah, like the thing with this game, I think it plays better than the first game. The first game was a very traditional, turn-based RPG. They changed it out with this new grid combat system. It's kind of a mixture of what's a good comparison? It's not XCOM. It's kind of like, well, it's not squad-based shooting. It's like where you play like on a 5x5 grid,
Right.
and you can do attacks that involve like knocking people back into their other companions
Like
or
XCOM,
doing
basically.
double teams. Yeah, so it's not shooting. It's more like Final Fantasy Tactics or something.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna
Okay.
say. Final Fantasy Tactics.
Yeah, and it actually works really, really well. It's a very compelling system, and they thought it out very, very carefully. I will say that, both the games, I think they have their strengths and weaknesses in the writing itself, because it's actually a fairly solid narrative. It's full of callbacks to the show. It's full of running gags and making fun of stuff. I mean, they pretty much dig at Marvel and DC hardcore, even calling out Zack Snyder on a couple occasions directly. But it's also the fact that it's hard to sustain that much momentum for an entire game. So there are a few jokes that kind of run into the ground. There's a few jokes that just never get off the ground to begin with. There are a few surprises, like this video clip that you're showing, Nick. I won't say how, but that plays into a big thing in the ending that I didn't see coming. And you would never guess how it actually implements into the show with that character on the left.
Man, the human kite, man, he better not have fucking came back with this punk ass. Like, man.
Wait, you played the first one?
No, you'll see.
Yeah, god damn it. Oh, I'm going to look that up, Justin, after we're done with the show and everything. I'm really curious as to how that happened.
No, after the show, I will tell you what they do. And
okay,
that's so strange that Nick's so into this right now.
I know.
No, the thing is... Oh, I'm sorry, Justin, go ahead.
Oh, no, I'm just saying, like, it's still a very fun game. I just think that it really depends on how much you tolerate South Park's humor. It really depends on how much of a South Park fan you are, and really just how much you enjoy playing RPGs. Oh, okay. Sorry, Skull. Thank you. You spoiled one of the best surprises in the game. But
man, I had YouTube spoil that shit for me.
God.
You fight Jared at one point in the game.
Yeah.
I didn't even put that together myself, my dumb ass.
I did. I was just like, no, because it's a bunch of kids, and then Jared, I'm just like, oh.
Yeah, no, it's a big gag for one of the plot lines where you fight off in a police station, and they're like, oh, but we have a secret weapon in store, and they open up a cell, and Jared comes out, and you fight him. So
he's looking good. He's locked up for child molestation. He's Jared.
Anyway,
I'm just saying that shit's lazy as fuck, but it's like,
you're
hey,
chuckling though. You're chuckling. I can hear it.
I'm laughing at you guys, man. Like you just
trying to keep that shit together, man.
Yeah.
No, you actually get a choice too for no reason whatsoever. The choice to either execute him or spare him, which
I killed his ass.
I know you did. So. But yeah, so I think it's a fun game. It's just I wouldn't buy it personally because I think if you play it once, you've pretty much got everything you needed to.
Yeah.
So if there was a rating between buy it and rent it, like used, like buy it used or something like that, that's what I would go with. But I guess since we don't have that rating, I would go with rent it because I redboxed it for a few days and I powered through it hours and hours on end, and I got a lot of fun out of it. I got some good laughs. It was a fun game to play, like on an RPG level. It's not the best game I played this year.
Okay, and I'm gonna ask you the same thing, man. Like buy it, rent it, stream it, fuck it. And now I know you won't say fuck it or stream it, but
no. Just say rent it. It's not really that good, or it's rent it down, borderline stream it because, like Justin's saying, like once you get through all the jokes and pretty much the gameplay is pretty simplistic once you get a hang of it, and it's very linear. It was to the point that I was avoiding fights that I didn't have to do because it just felt like I was just doing it just to do it, and all the moves you kind of unlock really early, so you kind of already see all the different variations of characters and how their movesets are. So it doesn't take a while before you get your own set of characters. You already start playing with the other ones, and just because of that, the gameplay is kind of boring to a certain degree. So I say rent it or stream it because it's a good game. If you're a South Park fan, you definitely already bought it already, like we did, or rented it. But more likely, if you just want to play like just a South Park game and enjoy what all the fuss is about, stream it or rent it.
Yeah,
I will say it didn't end very strong. Like it had a decent ending up to the point of the actual very last scene where I'm just like, well, it's kind of like an episode of the show where they're just like, and it's done.
Well, the Fractured Butthole was like that too, where they had like two different endings. I felt like.
Which one?
Not the Fractured Butthole, but the Stick of Truth. When the games, there's like two parts where you feel like you beat the game and you didn't, and it feels like it's continued for no reason.
Yeah, no, it does have that where it feels like the ending has like 5 acts alone to the ending itself. So it's just like.
But the thing is, though, people like normally
Ruthless stream cell fodder.
No, but like at this point though, we would normally be kind of heading over to like either another topic or to the end of the show. But
sexy ass logo.
It's nice, but guess what though? Pow! Flex and shield time.
I'm keeping my shirt on. I'm not doing my red shirt. So.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. I was actually. I thought Justin was gonna be like, I'm gonna keep my shirt on. I would show you my titties for the beads and everything. I'm really excited right now, but I'm not gonna do that.
Nobody wants to see mine. Come on.
That's what she said.
In your defense, I don't think anyone wants to see any of our dude titties. Like, I think we're all good.
Dude
not
titties.
You,
yeah.
Alan.
No.
Have titties in this call, I think. But anyways, sorry, Allie.
Yeah.
Okay, I gotta ask first of all, just for preparation. If we're gonna touch Stranger Things 2, is it gonna be spoilers? Because I have not started watching it, so I could. I'm just saying I don't know how far you guys have gotten into it. I just didn't know. I didn't know.
Gotten into what?
A Stranger Things team.
Oh, Stranger Things? Oh, I wasn't gonna spoil it because I know it's still.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Well, speaking of that, I want to start off with that real quick because that's the
Yes.
thing. I am curious as to how you feel about this because this is something everyone's been pretty excited about. So, how are you feeling now that you're done?
So I will say right off the bat that like the second season is definitely satisfying, because like you get the gang back together, and it's awesome to. But it's awesome, but it's like there are some negatives to it.
Hold on a second, Ali, you're echoing really bad.
That's not me.
Yeah, I don't
No,
think
it's
it's
I hear it too.
It's not? Oh, okay.
Maybe it's
Yeah.
on
My
my
headphones
end.
are in. So.
That's
It
weird.
might be on. Yeah,
I
I
only
think
hear
it's
when
on
she
your
talks.
end.
How about now, Allie? Or all of you?
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello. Okay. Okay, that's better.
Okay, it was
Yeah.
me.
Yeah, that's
then.
a little
It was
better.
me. Yeah,
Okay, there we go.
my bad. But
Yeah.
go ahead though.
Okay, so I will say like one thing that bugged me about this right off the bat was like it kind of falls into the same trapping as it, like what we talked about the bully. Like there's this guy that comes in. Yeah, there's this guy that comes in because like there's these new characters. So like this new girl like kind of gets into the group, and her stepbrother is like cartoonishly like a little a-hole, and it just felt very reminiscent of the bully from It, the 2017 version.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
is the brother the Red Ranger, that guy?
The Red Ranger.
The guy with the mullet. I saw his
Yes.
picture on Facebook.
Yes.
Okay,
One
yeah.
that people
him.
think is attractive.
I thought they were gonna reveal something about him that's like, oh, okay, maybe he turns out to be not so bad of a dude at the end. Nah, I'll say that. Like, it's just like he's just a a-hole, and it's like it's very predictable, kind of like the backstory they create for him. So I was just like, okay, that was kind of unnecessary. I don't know if like they were trying to be really 80s, you know what I mean? Like with that bully, but it wasn't really necessary. And then also I will say that what really just gets on my nerves is like when a character is like away from a character for a long time, and then they finally like are close by them, and they see them, and they see the character being like all happy and smiling and laughing. They're like, oh, I just won't go to them. And I'm just like, you're just like a couple of feet away. Like, why the heck can't you just go and talk to that person? It would just fix a lot of stuff. Like, they did that. Because, like, 11 and Mike, yeah, like, they had, if you watched the first season, they definitely had grown, like, such a really close bond. So it's like 11, it's no secret that she's in the second season. So it's like, she's kind of away from everyone. Yeah, it's like she's away from everyone. Like, she can't technically see, her friends. And so, like, but she just goes to see if they're okay or whatever. And I'm like, yo, just go talk to them. Like, go talk to them. Why? But yeah, that it just made me a little bit mad because it's just I've seen that trope so many times.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say, like, this is just negative. I'm going. It's definitely still positives, but like, there's definitely a lull towards like the middle. Where Ellie, she just like she goes kind of a way to find herself or to kind of find out what happened to like her mother or whatever, and that part of the story I felt like was really, I get why they did it, but I just felt like it didn't mesh well with everything else that was going on, and it really would have benefited, I think, if they had maybe condensed it a little bit more. So that's the only thing I have to really complain about. Otherwise, it's just like it has very similar beats to the first season, but I feel like there's a lot of new and different stuff to really enjoy. And no doubt about it that you will definitely like binge this within like a day, really, if you have the time, because it's just like it definitely captured my attention the whole time, though. Even the parts that were a little bit slower, it's like you're so invested in these characters, and you don't know what the heck's gonna happen. So I would definitely say that it lives up to all of the hype people are giving, and I definitely say it's worth watching. Are we still doing the star rating? Or are we still going to the right, buy it, rent it, whatever?
I think, well, in this situation, let's just pretend that this did cost money, because I know it's like, we'll stream it. I did stream it, motherfucker. You know what I mean? But, I mean, in this sense, like, let's pretend like, just it's worth. I feel like, yeah, like, would you buy it if you had to watch it, or?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I would still 100% buy it. I mean, there's definitely some twists and turns that I'm just like, oh my god, no, don't do that. I was like screaming at the TV, like, oh my god, this is gonna happen. Oh my god, no. You know, like you're really invested in all of these characters, and none of them becomes like nothing's really annoying except for the freaking bully dude. I'm just like, why? But everyone else in the show is just like, they just continue to be great. And I gotta say, like, you know, Millie Bobby Brown and Finn Wolfhard still are like the best actors, I think, in the show, along with the guy who plays Hopper. But like,
I
those
love
two,
Hopper.
Oh man, Hopper's the best. But he continues to be the like greatest dude ever. But yeah, like those all the kids really. The acting is just like, I'm really surprised, and just I hope that they go on to make really great stuff, you know, in the future. I mean, I could see they're already having amazing
one of them is
careers.
already getting his handful of cocaine right now as we speak.
Oh
yeah, that was so sad.
What?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
What's his name?
This is proof Ali ignores the fuck out of me when I talk in the chat.
Yeah.
But
No, go ahead,
Ali,
actually,
if you would have
explain
been paying
that.
attention earlier in the Google Hangouts that we talk in privately, we would have seen that I posted in a link that one of the Stranger Things stars actually got busted for cocaine going into London.
Yeah, what's his name? The brother of Will.
Jonathan.
Yeah.
Oh no, the
Jonathan
weird guy,
Myers.
the weird kind of loner guy that clearly has problems.
Man, I'm not surprised at all. He seemed like someone who would do that.
Yeah, like
Aw.
it's
Sad
really
to
a shock.
say.
I thought it was one of the kids. I'll be like, oh man,
Yeah, I thought it was one of like the 12-year-old kids, you know, like no. But oh man, that sucks.
Yeah.
But I mean, it kind of saw it coming. So,
Oh, that's
Look
fun.
at that nose, man. You can tell that shit could take at least an eighth down it.
What
aw.
were you saying, no, Justin?
Oh, I was gonna ask. So, I know the big additions they said for the cast here were Sean Astin and the guy from
Yeah.
Aliens. Do they play a big part in the story, or are they like any good in it? Like, 'cause, I mean, I know a lot of
do.
tensions on the Yeah. So, what are they like?
Oh yeah. Sean Astin. I was like, yeah, I didn't even know they were in this. So I started watching. I was like, wait a minute, is that Sam from freaking Lord of the Rings? Like, what's he doing in here? No, but yeah, like they're both good.
Paul Reiser. Paul Reiser's the other guy's name.
Yeah, Paul Reiser. Yeah, Paul Reiser plays his doctor. That's in the same facility as like where 11 was kept in the first season. So it's like right off the bat, you're like, I don't know if I should trust this dude. I don't know what his intentions are, but and I don't want to give anything away. You know, what containing his character. But he did a very good job, and Sean Astin, like, I think he did good too. I think though that, like, I would just say, like, you could kind of see something happen towards the ending.
Okay.
And like I definitely still like really felt for the character. I was like, oh my god, yeah, like, you know, get out of this situation, yeah. But at the same time, I'm like, yo, you guys totally just pulled something that like is so predictable. But the dude was cool. I would say a little bit like why is he here? I get why he's there, but like why is he there? You know?
Yeah.
So, but everyone's great. I mean, they play their parts well. They're likable. They have enough development. So they didn't feel like one-dimensional or anything. They felt like whole characters. But definitely, I would say just Sean Astin. I was just like, okay, you're here. It's cool. I like you, but why you here? So.
Now, one thing I actually want to bring up really quick, too, because I'm going to come back to you really quick, Allie, but, man, I got to ask Ganja real quick, man.
Hi.
This fucking thing is creepy.
Man, I knew Ganja was gonna watch this show, man. He looked right up his alley.
Dude, when I first heard about Big Mouth, I was looking forward to it because apparently what it is all these kids are about, I think, in middle school, and some of them are taking place in high school or early high school, and they're all going through the age of puberty. And basically, what that monster is a representation of all these kids' hormones, their sexual frustration, basically all the shit you deal with when your balls are dropping or that uterus is growing properly. So
Jesus
basically,
Christ!
He did
This is
graphic
me inside right now as you say that.
that kid enjoyed that thought. Anyway, so that kid right there is one of the main characters that's actually going through the most advanced form of puberty, and he's going through, sexual frustration. And basically, the other kid, he hasn't gone through yet. He's on the beginning stages. So when the monster first appears, he hears, "Are you the hormone fairy?" He goes, "What the fuck you call me, kid? A fairy?" He's like, "Nah, man, I'm no fairy. I mean, I might fuck around with guys, but I ain't no fairy." "So what you doing here?" "Oh, I'm here just to give your friend a nocturnal emission in sleep. That's all I really do." And I just appreciate it because it showed how useless puberty really is.
Oh man.
And how, and that's a better. good thing. They actually take a really good interest in how females go through it. I don't know if the writers actually got a good female staff on board, or they actually cared to like learn female anatomy and how they deal with stuff psychologically. Because the female character they go through with her female puberty, it's very realistic to I think how women go through it. I'm speaking from as a man, and my point of view is just what I see on the outside. But it was really well done. It wasn't used in a sense of gross out jokes like "look how weird women are" and all the guy stuff was done correctly. It was very balanced in that. The jokes were really kind of hit or miss. A few times, Nick, they were very guilty of what you hate, being gross and just sexual for the sake of being sexual and gross, that I felt really didn't have no point. And there was a few times that they got involved in sexual situations that made me feel uncomfortable, knowing that these kids are underage. Because it's not the thing where they make it ambiguous what age these kids are, and it's just like those those animes like American Dad, where they treat Steve and the other daughter as whatever age they kind of want at the time, and they've done some adult situation things. It just felt a lot more weird and more awkward for me, them knowing that they're like 13 and 12 and some of them are 14, so that was kind of gross.
Especially in early puberty and everything too.
Yeah,
like
those kind of things kind of grossed me out, but it really took advantage of what it was doing. Like, these two characters really felt like friends, and the situations they went through I really enjoyed. But honestly, the jokes were a big part of this series, and I really felt like the jokes were more hit than more misses than hits. And I felt like I found myself just nodding, just like enjoying the tirade of the characters rather than the dialogue itself. So I gotta give it like, all right, since we're using these beautiful little rental buy it, stream it shit, you know, I stream it myself, I'm gonna just say stream it. Or if you're not the person who likes the humor, fuck it, don't even bother.
Yeah, no, I mean,
like when I saw the fucking thumbnail and it's just this like 10-year-old kid and a boner's holding up his tablet, I'm like, not only is Ganja gonna love this, it seems like the complete opposite spectrum from anything I find like kind of humorous. And the fact that you're saying most of the joke misses, that would make me like, I'm not even gonna bother if you don't find it funny.
And honestly, the best situations were where they were more honest. Like, they had a situation where one of their homegirls gets her period for the first time at the Statue of Liberty, and this one of her male friends is just the whole time trying to figure out a way to stop her from being embarrassed, and people find out she bled. And it's very sweet. I've seen the character interaction between two friends, especially when you remember, you know, being friends with people at that age group, and you know, y'all just learning about the world for the first time, and you just looking out for each other.
Yeah, and I don't know, man. I feel like I might enjoy that.
And I support cocaine 100%.
Yeah, I don't know, man. We'll see what happens. I might watch this one day when I'm really fucking bored, dude. But that period, you know, I'm sorry, but like blood and shit like that. And
you might hate it more than you like it, honestly.
I don't know why. I don't know why.
Man,
It fucks me up a little
you
bit.
sit through some of the most grossest fucking horror movies where motherfuckers are getting torn in half, but a woman having a period. Oh no,
that's real life, though.
No, this is real shit. And speaking of that too, I haven't done a review on this show in a long time, and Ganja knows why I've been holding off on this particular one, Mr. Ganja Guru. So I'm just gonna do it now. Rip the Band-Aid off. Jeepers, fucking. Well, that's not even showing out. There we go.
Every 23 years, Nick has an opinion.
Why'd you touch those kids?
Oh, that's actually really fun. No, man. So here's the thing, dude. This Jeepers Creepers Ganja Guru. Now,
what the fuck?
What?
You understand what's in the chat?
What? Oh, what the fuck is that?
What a fucking waste of cereal.
Is that Destiny?
What?
Or Dynasty, you mean?
Dynasty.
Is that Destiny?
That's gonna be your destiny, Alan.
I gave him more of a strip
go back to
than he already has.
Go back to Jeepers Creepers. Hurry.
Go back to something less weird.
No,
I
man.
feel like that's one of Danielle's fantasies.
The one thing though that, that this movie does so well, man, is that it's not a fucking horror movie. This is such an action adventure, man. This, I gotta tell you, dude. Have you ever wondered like what it'd be like to watch a movie from the perspective of the killer and him being a protagonist? Because this is that fucking movie.
Yeah, it's called Deep Blue Sea.
Oh no, no,
That's fucking Shark ate me.
Dude,
No, it's called Maniac.
I was listening to a review one time, and some guy's like, if you think of Deep Blue Sea as from the shark's perspective, it's a Prison Break movie.
Wow, actually, I would like to get to more movies. And
Wait, that made that movie a little more badass if you look at it from the shark perspective, because they got locked up, they've been experimented on. They're busting out, they're like, fuck you, scientists! Fuck you, scientists! You're cool, little
parent too.
Little white blonde lady, you can live.
No, man, but this movie basically takes place in the middle between 1 and 2, and I gotta tell you, man, like there's questions that you wanted to answer with the first movie, and the thing is, like with Jeepers Creepers, it gets in that situation where, you know, certain things, like you would think it'd be a bad thing when movies don't answer your questions, especially from the first one. 'Cause you're like, man, like why does he have wings? Why does he do this? Why does he have like all these bodies like in the church, underneath the church, like hung up on this fucking wall and ceiling?
Big fan of Disturbed.
See what?
He's a big fan of Disturbed.
That too. Oh my boy, I can't believe you remember that shit. Yes, voices, son. I love that fucking song so very much. But no, like that's the thing, and they explain all this shit, and they explain like how long he's been alive. They explain a lot of things, but they still like answer questions with more questions. Like for instance, that fucking truck, that beating you truck. I don't know if you ever remember. Did you ever watch the first Jeepers Creepers movie and the second one?
Yes.
Okay, did you notice how it's a big deal, that fucking truck? But it's only a big deal because it's scary in the very beginning of the movie, but they don't talk about that truck at all, really.
Right.
Like, you never see inside of it, you don't know where it runs
At
off
one
of.
point, if I remember, at one point, the two main characters, before they run into the actual monster, the truck actually almost runs them off the road.
Yeah, it keeps chasing them, basically.
Yeah.
You know, the thing's driving it or whatever.
You think it's like two different movies going on here, where it's like a truck monster and then Jeepers Creepers.
Yeah, it's like Joyride or something, or some weird
Oh, that fucking movie, dude! I forgot all about Joyride.
Candy cane!
So this is just Joyride versus Jeepers Creepers. Okay, sounds great.
Dude, I would love that shit, but that's the thing. I
Don't
was
be
like,
sarcastic, bitch. You know that sounds amazing.
yeah, no, fuck you. But like this truck over here, dude, you don't know it, but it's a fucking transformer. Like,
What?
these kids walk up to that fucking truck, dude, and the goddamn thing has jaws. Like, metal, sharp fucking jaws.
You better turn me to a Stone Cold fan. What?
Yeah, what?
This is just
Yeah,
the kid,
no,
this is
no,
just
no,
the
the
kid movie
question
monster truck.
Is it an Autobot or Decepticon, though, Nick?
Or is
Well,
it
I
like
think
one
it's
of
an
those Stephen
Autobot
King
that Jeepers
things?
Creepers is like just taking advantage of, you know what I mean? Just telling them what the fuck to do. I don't think it's right.
No, remember, it's a
I was
choice
thinking-
between being a Decepticon and an Autobot. And it was an Autobot, but it decided to become a Decepticon.
Yeah.
Man, that's like, man, nah, get the fuck out of here. I was thinking more like Stephen King, like some asteroid came and they all became sentient because fucking science.
So,
Oh,
so
yeah,
the-
like
also,
Christine.
this is the prequel to Cars, I mean.
Yeah, no. Oh, man. No, and
Stop
it's
trying
cool,
to make that happen for Cars on, please.
the thing is,
Dude,
too,
the cinematic universe for Cars needs to happen.
But one thing I like too, I remember when we talked about the trailer, and I remember freaking out big time with the second trailer, and Alan was like, "Dude, give it a chance." I gotta say, Alan was right, man. There was a part where this kid does some Suicide Squad Will Smith shit, where he's like, he walks up to the thing and goes, "Yo, Jeepers Creepers," and I'm like, "Fuck." Like, I was ready to just say, "Fuck it, I'm not watching it." That alone pissed me the fuck off.
Was that your face enjoying the movie and then, nah.
Yeah, pretty much. I was like, so
First
mad.
trailer, second trailer.
But the coolest thing though is that they did it within the first minute, and they only do it once because that kid. I'm sorry, I mean, dude, it's a horror movie. He dies right away, like you know. But he does it,
Spoiler,
and then there's
man.
actually a reason why he did it too. That's the coolest thing. Is like, believe it or not, there was a legitimate build-up to him saying, "Jeepers Creepers," isn't that the way he's singing that song? Like, I've heard that before on the radio, and it was like that little fucking phrase was actually one of my favorite parts in the movie because that's what connected it to that old black lady in the first film, and then like the song she was listening to, and then the cops being killed in the first movie. I was like, holy shit, you just connected everything with a stupid little pun. Like, fuck yeah. Like, oh, I loved it so much. But then you get into situations where the director is a real sick fuck. I mean, you think he's weird before. This fucking dude decided to make a joke about fucking child rape. And people were complaining so much that they took it out and re-released it in a movie theater.
Damn! Man, that's bad when the studio's like, man, we gotta censor this motherfucker. If not, we gonna
Well,
lose
yeah,
money.
this convicted pedophile does a child rape scene. I think we need to edit this a little bit.
Yeah, like, and it's a joke though, and that's the thing that sucks is that him making that joke, it's like, what, you think there's humor in you doing this? So you have no fucking, like, you don't feel bad at all about what you did before then.
Well, that's like fucking.
But that's the thing. It's like, you know, like, I would.
Oh no, go ahead, Justin.
Oh, go ahead.
No, you know more about cinema history with this.
I was just saying, like, oh yeah, you know, because I mean, we all know. So people don't know Victor Salva, the director, is a convicted pedophile and child molester. And, you know, it's one thing that I felt bad where it's like, well, you know, maybe he got therapy, and you know, obviously it's been it has been a very long time since he did actually get convicted for his crime. But then if he's gonna do stuff like that, that doesn't help his case. I'm just saying, you know, it's like, yeah, okay, look, I don't want to give anyone the benefit of the doubt, saying like maybe they went through years of therapy. But then they go out and you're like, yeah, but I can just make these jokes. Everyone knows who I am. It's like,
Yeah,
like,
they know you
it's
so
not
much.
like there's some druggie like Richard Pryor's like, yeah, man, look at this lighted match. It's Richard Pryor. It's not that same kind of equivalent because you hurt somebody else, you asshole.
Yeah, everyone knows who you are, and you're gonna sit there and enforce the bullshit. No wonder your movie almost got banned out of theaters.
Yeah.
Shit.
And it's frustrating because you'll see things like I've told you too, Alan. Like, and you saw the trailer, but like, no one is not aware of who the Creeper is. Everybody knows what he does, and I love
that actually sounds interesting. Like, to me, it's like something I was always complaining about when Alien Covenant is coming out, and I was like, why are we having a situation in which we have, for the fucking 4th time, Alien kills a bunch of randos in a spaceship? Like, why not have a situation in which we get to see where a bunch of Marines who are legitimate trained, not like aliens, but like actual, like, we know what an alien is, we know how to hunt aliens, and have them try to survive. And that's, it seems like what you're describing in Jeepers Creepers, where they're actually gearing up everyone in the town. Here's a fucking gun, let's just shoot this shit dead.
Yeah, and it's cool because even the Creeper, he's like, you know what? Because the Creeper has rules. The Creeper likes to smell you for little parts that you have. He wants. Oh yeah. Oh yes.
Oh yeah.
Okay, I was confused with Ganja. Dude, I was confused with Ganja was sniffing because it looked like a potato.
No, he's not from Idaho.
I'm not saying it looks like a potato. I'm saying it looks like it.
No,
Okay,
man.
but I got a question though, Nick, because one thing I did notice from the other Jeepers Creepers movies, it's never clear how you beat the Creeper, because he seems to like take all forms of damage and somehow just manage to go like, okay, well I lost the body part, I'll just kill someone else and get a new body part kind of thing. So do they actually make it clear this movie how to fight the Creeper then?
And
or...
no, and the reason why is because this is literally the gap between 1 and 2. So if you want to know the ending, watch the beginning of Jeepers Creepers 2. And that's the ending. Like, you know.
Wow, okay.
and the thing is, like, you would think you would hate that, but what's cool about it is, like, they explain so many little things in the sense of, like, okay, this is the reason why he hasn't been killed before, because on top of, like, flying away and shit like that, people are so just, like, there's a reason why it kind of helps that he wasn't being, what do you call it, like, hunted before, because on top of being, like, a creature who needs to smell, needs to eat, etc., this fucking dude, he's just like, fuck it, like, you guys are coming after me, I'm coming after you, and he breaks all of his own rules because he's put in a situation, the monster himself is put into a situation where now we're chasing him, and he's like, well, I gotta defend myself. And
pulls out a gun, just starts going through and
I'm standing my ground.
No, and it's cool as fuck because it's almost like, yeah, you know, you're kind of like the underdog. The monster is the underdog. And I've seen this done only once before, and that was with the Halloween 4, the Return of Michael Myers, where the entire, all of Haddonfield, Illinois, they all had these fucking racist-ass redneck dudes with rifles. Let's go get that motherfucker, man. Let's find his ass.
Oh, yeah, that thick American accent. Let's go get him.
Like, fuck yeah, man. The goddamn William Shatner mask-wearing motherfucker. And
yeah, what are gun laws good for? Hunting down serial killers and creepers. So.
and you know, they chase him out throughout the whole movie and everything, but the thing is, like, with Halloween 4, that movie is a horror movie, so you don't really see a whole lot of action. This movie, you know, when you do things like, man, dude, if I was there, I would have just shot him. Like, no, that happens in this movie. Everybody who gets in contact with the Creeper, there's this one dude who makes his own Gatling gun on top of a fucking truck, and he's just like, I'm not going to find a place to sit to be careful. I'm going to get a chance. I'm going to shoot this motherfucker, and I'm going to put every bullet I can into this son of a bitch. And it's like, it's so action-packed. The problem is the movie looks so bad because there's so much stuff put into the action instead of the horror that shit costs a shitload of money. So everything else that you see in the movie looks like shit. I mean, it looks like a B movie. It's the worst-looking horror movie I've seen in a while, you know?
No, that's what I heard, that it looks like a TV movie. It's so bad quality.
I mean, he had to do with what he had with the fucking budget because he's a kind of a piece of shit. So it's like, he kind of basically is like, hey, I have $5, so I'm going to have to make a fucking movie out of this.
And I'm just so glad that even though he doesn't have the money, they still managed to say, you know what? We're still telling a story. Like, we don't have the money to do any of this shit, but use your imagination, get into the fucking zone, AutoZone.
Well, honestly, that was probably better. Like, the biggest issue, the biggest criticism we always see with sequels is, hey, we gave this guy $300 million and he fucked it up. So it's like, maybe giving him a little bit more money would have, you know, made them, you know, even down some of the CG, some of the practical effects. But then giving too much money would have been a fucking disaster.
Yeah, and I'm like, if you are cool with seeing something that looks like shit and just, you'd rather just see things happen even though they don't look great, this movie is easily like, I mean, I put this thing up here, I would buy it. I mean, I would literally buy it and watch it in a movie theater again, etc. But the thing is, unfortunately, you know, it's one of those movies where I would not recommend you guys to buy it. I mean, honestly, stream this fucking thing. It's close to a fuck it because there are situations where I'm just like, okay, you could make this a legit sequel to everything else that we've seen. We've waited years and years, and they're already planning Jeepers Creepers 4. They're already making it right now.
Yeah,
Ain't
Like,
gonna
you
happen.
guys couldn't even wait till you got your money and seen if this was good. Like, they didn't even
Every
see.
movie ever does this. Like they expected there to be some. So this is a resurgence of horror. So to a certain degree, they expect this. Like Deadpool literally greenlit a sequel way before the fucking movie came out. They always have to kind of, to a certain degree, plan this in advance. And sometimes, yeah, like Jay-Z said, this might straight get canceled.
But that's it. Just kind of worries me. Like, I see that happen even with like that girl Rosario Dawson. Like, she's already gonna be on the next Lego superhero DC movie. She's already doing some Marvel shit in the future. She's
Right.
on the Netflix fucking Marvel shows. I'm like, dude, like just wait till she does good, then make your decisions. Like, fuck, man.
These
Like,
things take years in advance. A lot of time they gotta keep the trademark, or you have to at least set the groundwork. You have to be like, well, are we gonna make one? Well, maybe. Okay, get everything ready so that we're not sitting there going, well, fuck, we have less time. We have to actually kind of get it going. It's like stoking a fire. You can't just sit there and have it explode. You have to set it up and then get the fire going.
yeah, but like for me, like I said, y'all, this movie officially, yeah, this is definitely a stream it. Stream this fucking thing when you get a chance. It is so much fun. It's so fucking good in so many ways. But it's just not worth your money. And honestly, I wouldn't feel comfortable paying that fucking pervert fuck who honestly made a joke about the shit that he pulled. It just, yeah, it's amazing to me. Now, Mr. freaking Allen, my boy.
Yo.
Now, I know you finished Narcos, and we talked about that on a few streams, so I'm actually going to ask you something different now.
Sure.
Strain. I've been wanting
yes.
to watch this fucking thing for so long. You watched the finale. How was it, man?
Okay, so I'll talk about the finale first. I'd say the final season itself, incredible, phenomenal. I love how they changed the world. I love how all the decisions mattered and how the world got built. The final episode to me, and if Jordan was in the chat, he'd agree, I felt that the final episode was rushed, where they kind of just ended it. They're like, okay, let's end it. But they had a really good epilogue where they kind of like how everything's kind of coming back and how the world's like going to move on. But I felt that they didn't really. I felt like if they had one more episode, they could have really made a knock it out of the park finale. But I felt like they ran out of time, so it's like they just kind of did whatever. But I kind of want to review like almost like the entire kind of series because it's something I always said. Like I really, really like this show because of the fact that it's like I've always hated vampires, werewolves, zombies, any sort of supernatural creatures because I feel like they don't give a shit about science or real world applications or how any of this shit could happen. Like, oh man, I'm a vampire and for some reason I can run super fast. And because I'm dead, I have powers of seduction or I can't go in the sun, but I can. It's just they just make it up in every fucking vampire, werewolf,
That's because
zombie
they're
thing.
fictional. They're fictional characters.
I don't give a shit,
Yeah, those
but
rules
I have
are
a
made
point,
though, man.
motherfucker.
Oh my god.
My point is, it's just everyone comes up with their own fucking rules, and it's all based on whatever the fuck they come up with. Where with this, it's like they make their own rules up, but they focus and actually try to make it work within the realms of science. And they actually try to sit there and be like, well, how come UV light affects them? It's like, oh, well, UV light kills 99% of bacteria anytime it's exposed to it. It's like, oh, because they're viral born. It's like, okay, that's how they can transmit. It's like they actually put the effort to not just saying we're just going to do vampire thing. Who gives a shit about the science? We're actually going to try to make this work within reality. So you see the rules of like any sort of scratch, any sort of blood contact, you're instantly like infected, like it would be kind of in real life, like, where if you have some sort of airborne or some sort of like ingestion, you become infected. And how it kind of changes and how it works and why they need to drink blood and why they need to do all this stuff. They focus so heavily on the science without it's not like a documentary, but they focus on it in the course of the story. And that's what I loved about it. That's what kept me going. So when things happen, it happens in a realistic sense. So I recommend to everyone, especially if you hate The Walking Dead for how repetitive and boring it gets. This show, it's tight. The plot from start to finish, everything connects, everything makes sense. And I fucking love every second of it. Like I highly recommend this. Buy it twice, buy it 3 fucking times. You know?
Yeah, man, and I'm really glad that you liked it because I really want to get into this show very, very badly, and I know I'm
I
going to.
highly recommend it. It's the best part is it's a mix of like it does a lot of its bloody moments that make sense, and it has a lot of great action scenes. Like they get some characters in, they have a lot of cool gunfights. They have they have a lot of actual great set pieces where they're having like people, like a large group of people fight a large group of these fucking, almost zombie-esque feral vampires, and it's fucking incredible. Like I recommend this to everybody.
Now,
Man,
Justin,
I'm sorry, Alan.
I
I'm
know.
cracking up. If you look, man, I just realizing that this is still real to me. Damn it, that a random hand comes out of the side, and just passes me. Okay, buddy.
Aww.
And I just had me rolling for 5 minutes.
What are you talking about?
Damn.
Look at that double toasted chat room.
Yeah, Cedric just put it up, but yeah, like it's still real to me, damn it. That rest
It's alright, buddy. It's alright.
Every time it's either Dijon or Cedric. Every time I have a fucking point, somebody has to post a GIF or some bullshit to get everyone to start laughing.
By the way, have you watched that video,
fucking time.
Alan?
Which
Have
one?
you actually watched the original video of that?
This? No, I haven't seen that at all.
Then that would explain why you're confused.
Yeah.
No, I'm not confused by it. I'm just every time I talk, somebody posts some sort of GIF that gets everybody else laughing while I'm trying to explain my fucking review. Every fucking time.
Oh, okay. I was saying every time he posts that, I was like, oh.
No. Every time like Dijon posts something, like go back to every review I've ever done. At some point, everyone starts laughing because of the fucking chat.
Hey,
I remember one time he got mad. Why is everybody fucking like the chat? The chat.
Well, the worst time ever was I made a joke and I thought everyone was laughing at my joke, and it wasn't until I checked out the chat.
Dude, I was laughing at your joke, but I was also laughing at the chat too. Like,
Anyway, despite whatever the fuck's going on in the chat, the seasons are 10 episodes apiece, 4 seasons, so you can easily this isn't like a situation where it's like 30 episodes per season. Like you can definitely sit through this, take your time and watch it. And it's like great. All the characters are great. All the backstory is explained, and it's a fucking incredible show, and I love every second of it.
now, Justin, before we get to our main event, I'm gonna ask you really quick too. Like, yeah, anything you've been watching, sir?
I'm so emotional right now. But no.
It's still real to you.
Well, mostly my time has been taken up with South Park, and then I've been doing a lot of grading for tests and that stuff. So, but in the meantime, I have a problem where I like to collect movies. You guys know that. I've documented that thoroughly in my in my recordings here.
This is actually a cleverly staged intervention.
Oh yeah, you don't see it. Like on either side of me, I have about 20 movies that I just bought in the last 2 days.
Oh,
And
but
what
I
you
got
don't
two
see,
bitches.
he's not. And what you don't see, he's not sitting on the couch right now. There's actually just a bunch of movies propped up.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't know you went to my house, Alan. But no, anyway.
Oh, we all know you went to his house.
Oh, you
I did.
sure fucking did.
Yeah, we have it on video.
I actually was on his bed too. So what do you think
On
happened?
video?
there?
Oh God.
So I mean, I haven't watched a lot lately, but I did go to a movie night recently. I had a couple, and I don't know if I mentioned watching Scream the other day. I mean,
You did
the
not,
last
actually.
week's recording. So I watched Shaun of the Dead this week, but I mean, I've talked about Shaun of the Dead. We all know that we like Shaun of the Dead. It's a good movie, but I want to talk about Scream because I just can't get enough occasions, especially since we've been talking horror movies. I love the original Scream. For anyone who has never seen this is early 1990s Wes Craven, probably one of like maybe 3 good Wes Craven films.
Yeah.
Damn.
No,
No,
so.
he ain't wrong. By the way, I hate to interrupt you, but that's one thing. And Justin, thank you so much because people talk so much good stuff about Wes Craven. He has some great ideas, but like, here's the thing, man. That motherfucker's movies. He did what? Nightmares. That's an awful fucking B movie. The original Hills Have Eyes is terrible. The remake sequel is awful.
He did
Last
the
House on the
original
Left.
and the remake?
Yeah, Last House on the Left. That weird ass rape fucking fantasy shit. Man.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but Wes Craven was a sick fuck, and there's certain things he wanted to do with Freddy that were worse than what they ended up doing too. So, yeah, thank you, Justin, for being the person to say it, and I completely agree. But continue.
Yes. Anyway, so yeah, no, I could say there's maybe only like 3 good Wes Craven films, and I can't think of the third one. I know it's Nightmare on Elm Street, Scream, and something else.
Man,
But
I could just hear it right now, just scary in the distance. Fuck you guys!
Yeah, fuck you, Justin Zarian.
he gives my review the lowest score. But anyway, I really,
give it a
really,
Good lord, what? Jesus. Sorry, I went to my porn stash, y'all. Like, what?
come on, put the boobs
Why
away.
why is my hand rocking the right nipple now? Damn it!
But anyway, I'm never gonna get to this review. But basically, okay, I don't need to tell you, Scream is one of the all-time great, like, not even parody. It's a satire horror film, and it works because on the surface, it's still a straightforward horror movie, like a straightforward slasher movie, but it's one that's self-aware of its own existence without breaking the immersion into the world. It manages to say, like, yes, we are aware of the rules of horror films, but we're still going to be a straight-up horror movie. And that comes with its, strengths and flaws, because just like any good horror movie, you got to have the cliche characters. And they do a good enough job making you like these people. I mean, Neve Campbell, bless her, she's a really, really beautiful woman, and she's aged very gracefully today. I mean, she's a good lead on the whole. It still is amazing that this introduced the world to the original Shaggy. What's his name? Matthew Lillard.
Oh god, I can't believe anybody watched the fucking. The fucking Scooby-Doo movie.
Man, fuck you.
It is a thing, but and I would say like it's fun to watch those kind of guys, seeing where this movie was really a focal point for the careers of like a dozen different actors who went on to do other things, and it's really fun to watch as a time capsule that way. And Scream doesn't hold up completely because it is very 90s to the point where it's like, they have like the typical 90s soundtrack songs. There's a weird cover of Don't Fear the Reaper that they play during one of the sex scenes where I'm just like, I never noticed that before this screening. But and then the one thing that I could say that's technically really bad about the movie, whoever's doing the sound audio and the editing and the ADR and that stuff, they cranked up all the sound effects to like 11 throughout the scene. Like the scene where
Zimmer.
well, no, not even that. Like Henry Winkler, he plays the principal in the movie, where he gets a pair of scissors. And he's trying to intimidate these two students who were caught, messing with the other students because they bought the mask that the killer wears, and they were going like, "I'm gonna murder you" in the hallways. Which if that was definitely a 90s thing because you could not get away with that today.
Man,
but
that shit was shot by security, campus cop.
Oh yeah, but the problem is that whenever he's wielding the scissors, it's like he's wielding like a broadsword, because anytime he interacts with something, where it makes a shink, 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 shink sound, and it's like,
man, that sounds badass, man. Scissors with sound effects.
They're a pair of basic cutting scissors. Come on, they don't do that.
I don't do a duel, bitch.
Yeah, but I would say like, it's a fun movie. It's very entertaining. It's actually really, really funny throughout a lot of it. And even the scare parts when they actually kill people, they mess some people up. One of which was a very unrealistic way to actually do something. I'm like, pretty sure physics don't work that way, but it's still amazing when you see it happen. So I would say, like, I discovered this late, like only like 2 years ago I saw Scream for the first time, but I thoroughly enjoyed it all the way through. I would totally say buy it. It's a low buy it because it's not a flawless movie, but I think if you want a good, fun Halloween horror film, and it's not just a scary movie, for the whole audience, go watch Scream. It's really entertaining.
Yeah, man, and that's the thing too. I wanted to bring this up really quick while you're doing this as well. But like, one thing I really liked about this as well is that mask. I mean, I know, like, you can get a Michael Myers mask before Michael Myers even came out, the William Shatner mask, just paint it white. And there's a lot of like creatures that have certain looks that existed before those movies became popular, but this was something way more accessible than most of those other things before this movie came out, and I actually really, really like that. And the movie plays with that idea too, like, Jason, they act like Jason's the only person who can wear a fucking hockey mask, who will be that tall. And this is like, no, like, anyone can pick up this fucking mask. And Halloween did that as well with the William Shatner thing, but it's like, sometimes, like, okay, that's obviously not that's not Michael Myers. The dude's fucking fat. He's in an area where there's a bunch of Michael Myers running around. There's weird situations like that. This movie, it's like, there's no one supernatural. Ganja, you can put on a mask right now and then fucking stab me, and you're the Ghostface killer. We can all be.
Well, put on the hood. You ain't gonna see mine on here.
Yeah, exactly.
Which, 3 last points on that, just to go quickly.
Yeah.
One, that opening sequence is still one of the best opening sequences to any movie ever.
Oh, yeah.
Just, if you want a taste of what Scream is like, just watch those first 15 minutes. That would really
What are you watching?
2, you say it's not supernatural. The Ghostface Killer has some weird levels of like super strength. Whoever puts on that mask, that they can just do anything. And yet at the same time too, the Ghostface Killer gets his butt handed to him every time he tries to kill somebody. Like, they kick him in the balls, they throw beer bottles at him, they
because he's a dude.
It's realistic. Like, if you're think about it, Justice, if I come to stab you in a costume, you ain't exactly good.
I know, but it's just funny. Like, they totally kick his butt the entire time.
Dude, again, if fucking Ganja and me are fighting, Ganja's gonna kick me in the balls at some point. I'm gonna go down. Like,
yeah,
that's how it goes.
And what helps too. Oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry, but no, the best reveal I had in the entire movie wasn't the twist, which the twist is really entertaining itself of who it is. But the big reveal for me was looking up IMDb and going, oh my gosh, the guy who does the Ghostface Killer voice is Mojo Jojo from the Powerpuff Girls.
Mojo Jojo.
Oh, no,
that's awesome.
No, but like for me too, because speaking of the twist, I want to talk about that for a second as well. When you're saying things like, man, I'm not gonna spoil anything, Alan.
Oh, I don't give a shit.
Okay. No, but like this, well, I guess it is a spoiler, but who gives a fuck? Yeah, like you said. But Justin, like when you're saying things like, yeah, I don't like the fact that like sometimes like one time, the Ghostface Killer is very like, you beat the fuck out of him, like, ooh, my balls, ooh, throw a beer can at me, I'm fucking hurt. And then other times it's superhuman strength. It plays with the idea, and it doesn't really say it out there like for sure, but it's like, yeah, there's an accomplice, so there could be like one Ghostface Killer might not be the guy that you think he is. So one dude might be sucky at killing, and one guy would be great at killing.
Yeah,
or
after even Nev Campbell, he puts on the mask at some point, and she can do some superhuman stuff. So that was just my point on that.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
it's just
no.
adrenaline, man. You never wore a mask
Yeah.
before? It gives you super strength, man. It's a fact.
I know, you gotta go aggro, man. Army of Two, son. That's where they had those masks.
Man, I love that fucking game so much.
Me too. But here's the thing: we're talking about horror movies. I have to do this, and I would ask you to do another show, Allie. But man, you got. I don't know why you even watched this, but Raw.
Oh yes,
What is
So
wrong
this just
with
became
you, first of all?
this just became the ringside hangout.
man.
No.
Man.
Oh yeah, WWE Raw. I don't know why I didn't get that. Thank you. Good
Switch
job,
it to Raw reaction, man.
No, but Allie, go ahead though, man. For one,
Yeah.
why did you even watch it? I'm curious.
Well, like, I don't know. I was reading this article one day that was like, oh, hey, if you like this movie, you'd like all these other movies. And I was like, okay, whatever. And I didn't think anything of it. And then I saw on Netflix they had it. And I was like, okay, well, let's see what this is about. So basically, it's a French independent film, and it follows this girl who is entering into her first year at college. And she's studying to be a veterinarian, and like the main main point they want you to know is that she is vegetarian, and the upperclassmen like they start like hazing all of the new students, and one of the rituals they force them to do is like eat raw meat, and so they force her to eat raw meat, even though she's vegetarian, and so the movie just follows this girl as her body starts kind of like really yearning for anything with meat, and I mean like anything.
Oh,
I think you could understand where I'm going with this.
want that D.
Yeah, but not in the sense that you think, in the literal sense.
Yeah.
Wait, you
like-
seen
No,
this?
No,
no,
I've heard
I'm
of
serious,
it. Ali
Nick.
described it, and I've also
No,
heard.
Nick, the problem is you're speaking like a foot long, but you're going to get a beanie weenie instead. Just saying.
Boo!
Oh, like I know that's bad pun and everything, but like for real, man, they go
racist.
there.
No.
Well, no, they don't go there, but
Alright.
it's like when I say she is literally like she just starts eating anything with meat. Like so, first it starts out, steak or whatever, and then it gets interesting if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So like it's a weird movie. Like I don't know what else to say. Like I mean, technically speaking, that like the pacing and everything is good. I was never bored. But I was just bewildered more than anything. And I can't even really say that the main characters are likable. Like, it's just one of those weird international films. Like, if you're into something in a theme of, like, Halloween and you kind of want to watch something weird, I guess maybe watch it. But I really wouldn't recommend this to anyone. She's not a zombie. No, she's not a zombie. It's just like
Would've been cool.
she's just like she's been vegetarian all her life, and she's just like, oh, I had meat for the first time, and yeah, it was disgusting in this part, but like her body starts like wanting it for some reason, and it just goes way overboard, and it's just like her freaking sister's a little weird too with it, and it's just like
Oh,
it's just a domino effect.
I have a question for you, man.
Oh god, yeah.
Because you had to bring out a little accessory. I'm gonna
Big
put a bet
sister.
down. I bet $5, and I will pay you in New York next week. I
Okay,
bet $5. Incest.
no.
Fuck. Damn. I mean,
Thank
like, fuck
God.
that. I lose the money, by the way. Like, not fuck that. I want incest. Like,
Trust me.
I thought it was gonna be a show with
If this movie had incest, Ali wouldn't tell us.
No, it's. Does anyone care if I spoil it?
No.
no. Go ahead and spoil. And we're at the end of the show, by the way. So yeah, go.
Okay, so spoiler for Raw if you care about it, but so like yeah, she starts like first eating regular meats, and then she there's this point where her and her sister are hanging out, and she's like helping her with something because like she hasn't waxed at all, like hair and everything, so she's like trying to help her, and she's like trying to get it out, and so like something gets caught, and so she gets the scissors. And so she's like, starts like, oh, this is
no.
crazy, this is bull crap, whatever. And the scissors, like she kicks her, and the scissors actually cuts off her sister's finger. And so she's like passed out. And so she's like, okay, well, let me call, medical, whatever. And then she starts looking at the finger, and she's like, huh. And she starts eating it. Yeah. And so after, yeah. So after that, she like starts actually wanting to eat human flesh and everything, and turns out that her sister has the same exact like condition as well. So she's like trying to help her. That's why she's not after she like wakes up, she's like, oh my god, you just ate my finger. She's not like super surprised. And I'm like, why isn't she super surprised? I would be like freaking out, like, what the heck? I don't want to talk to my sister ever again. But she's like, oh no, I do the same thing as you do. And she's like trying to help her like through and like, oh hey, you know, if you don't eat, then you know, of course you're gonna die or whatever. And so she's like going out of her way, like she just takes her sister over to this area, like where this road is, and she just like walks out in the middle of the road when this car comes and they crash and the people are like injured or whatever, and she's like, okay, come on, let's go feast. And I'm like, what's happening here?
Yeah.
So,
Man, Tokyo Ghoul sounds weirder than I remember.
No shit, man. But
yeah,
I don't want it
it's the most weirdest thing.
Yeah, and I would ask more questions, but I don't want it too spoiled because I might watch this at some point too. Like even when I was looking up other clips to show you while you were talking on the side, there's like ending explained. So I'm like, fuck, it's one of those our house fucking endings where maybe it'll mean what I want it to mean, man. Ugh, dude.
Colossal, man.
Is she a zombie or is she not?
Yeah.
It's a metaphor, man, for our consumerism.
Well, it's not. Yeah, I guess I won't give too much away. I mean, it's not one of those open-ended endings like, oh, maybe it's this, maybe it's not, or whatever. Oh my god.
There's
but
so many movies, and I know Corey and I think co-host talked about that today too. But like one thing that really pissed me the fuck off too is like when people look at the Babadook two different ways. Oh no, it was Corey Goodwin and Corey Coleman talked about last 2 days ago. Fuck, if I can say this shit right. But they're talking about how Martin likes to accept certain things for what they are. Like the Babadook, for instance. He was like, yeah, it was a monster, obviously. And Corey will be like, hey, no, it's not a monster. She's going crazy, man. It's our house, dude. And I'm like, no. Like with Mother, I understand that. But you literally made us, accept this fucking creature, the Mr. Babadook. He has a look. He has certain rules of like when he appears and etc. His behavioral stuff. I hate that shit in art films. I know I'm going off on a random tangent and everything too, but it's like, man, with these art house movies and the horror movies, I almost just right away say fuck it. Like I don't even want to touch it.
And I
But
100%.
Nick, it clearly wasn't a monster. Just saying.
And I 100% fucking agree with you, Nick. I'm so sick of this whole thing of do it yourself. It's just like you can do that really fucking well, but you have to have enough of a movie that fucking works. God's about to yell at me about Inception. Inception actually ends. It's just the bit of the ending can be discussed. But you're talking about something like when we watch shut your bitch ass up.
Not even the motion of the top ends. It literally does not end, bitch.
It fucking ends because the fucking goal of the movie ends. But my rant actually goes to a movie like Enemy, which does nothing. That the entire movie to explain the bullshit that's going on, and then the movie just ends, and you're just like, "What the fuck did I just watch?"
And I think with Allie, when she's saying about like Raw, I mean, and correct me if I'm wrong, Allie, but like this is really just like a character study. Really, it's just about like, holy shit, she's finding things out, and we're finding out with her, And I guess that's like the ride, the adventure. You know what I mean? Like maybe she doesn't have to have her story ended.
Sure. You could say that, I guess. Like I really just honestly, there's nothing else I can say. It's just a weird freaking movie. I don't know what to think.
What would you rate it though? Like I mean, buy it, rent it, steal it, fuck it. What do you feel?
Fuck it.
Oh god, it's just like
Eat
I
it.
would only stream this. I would only stream this. Like, yeah, I guess it's my rating in a way. Like, I mean, it's a well-made film, but it's just like such a weird freaking premise and everything. But like, technically, everything's good. Like, the acting's all good. Gotta read subtitles, but other than that, I mean, like whatever. But it's just like not a movie that everyone's gonna enjoy. It's not the Human Centipede.
Oh,
Actually,
I mean,
it was pretty tame. I thought the gore was gonna be like off the charts, and it actually was pretty tame. So I mean, there's that. But yeah, it's just like one of those movies that you just have to have you have to be in a certain mood to watch it. You just have to have a certain.
Yeah, I'm wondering. I was gonna because it says the finger scene, and I was gonna because Allie was talking about this earlier. But as I'm watching this, like, what finger, like, what did it mean by finger scene? Like, I mean,
you might want to
that's the scene right there. Like, where you see her, like.
Yeah, no, I see her just fine, Allie. Like,
no,
what you don't know is that Nick typed in fingering scene first. But.
It auto-corrected the fingering scene.
No, it's like, that's the finger scenes. Like, when she, like, at that point, she's only eating animal meat. So, at that point, I was like, See, the movie like psychs you out, so it's like, oh, okay, everything's good. She like you had that moment where you're like, oh crap, is she gonna eat her finger? And then you're like, oh no, she's putting it in the fridge. It's all good. All right, whatever. Oh no, she didn't. What else did she put in the fridge? Yeah, and then you're like, oh no, she's looking at it. No. No.
Okay, no, fuck that. Okay, you know what?
Yeah, see, she's looking at it and you're like, oh no, this is what it's gonna be. Oh my god. And then
No, but it's pissing me off too because she's literally moving her head in a way like, no, I'm not gonna eat it. And I'm like, okay, hold on, you fucking. If I'm by myself in a room and I don't know if I'm gonna eat this last Cheeto because I'm trying to lose weight, I'm not gonna hold a Cheeto puff next to my mouth and go, no, I would either eat it or put it away.
I think we would have some moral debate eating flesh. I'm just saying.
Yeah, exactly. But she's just like, you know, I'm just gonna go for it.
It's almost like she knows the camera's there. Like she's like, ooh, like, wouldn't you guys like to see me eat it? I don't know if I'm gonna. Oh, maybe.
Yeah. She's like, oh, okay. Well, this is actually pretty good. Like, I'm like, what?
I still can't believe you sat this through because based on how Gerald's game was, and you were just freaking out when the fucking the scene was happening.
No, that was intense. No, that was crazy. No, yeah, that was completely different.
Chris Brown in the chat was a finger licking good.
You motherfucker!
Oh god, I guess so. No, like Gerald's game was just like that was so disturbing because it's like you have the practical effect. But then you have the acting to go on with it, that her acting's so good, and you feel the pain through what you're yelling and everything, that it gets to you even more. Where here it's just like...
Oh, you still... Man.
Oh, don't you dare, Nick!
I'm showing it! I'm sorry!
No.
Spoiler for Gerald's game.
I'm saying this is being a real nail biter.
Flashbacks. Like, I watched this video, and it was these people reacting to that scene. And, like, I wasn't even looking at the screen. The screen wasn't, like, they weren't even showing the movie. But, like, I could just hear her screaming. And I was just like, oh, no, I can't do it. I can't look. There's nothing on the screen. But just the people reacting. And I'm just like, oh, my God. I can't do this again.
Yeah, and I'm looking over here, too. Like, I mean, I'll stop if it shows anything too crazy. But even this guy, like, this is some funny shit.
Yeah, well, that's the trailer, I think, that they were reacting to. Not the actual, like, oh, no, the one that's on the side there, that's the actual scene, like,
my
that's
bad.
People actually reacting to it. Yeah, the one with the gray background, the second one.
Oh, right there. Next to the employees reacting
right
to
above,
is it to the ending scene?
Yeah, to that scene where, you know, she's breaking out of the hand. See? Yeah, that part, yeah. See? So, like, you just hear the movie in the background, you're like, oh my God, I can't!
Hey, I didn't know your mom worked for Netflix.
What?
Okay, you know, that was from Alan Viola Davis shit. I'm sorry, guys.
I was going for that joke. I was going for it.
Oh yeah, sure, you're going for a joke that sucked.
Oh, but people, no. Here's the thing, though. We're gonna be ending now.
I did react that way to watching that scene too, so I don't blame those guys.
Yeah,
I think everyone did.
Are you a normal human being? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Man, Gerald's game, and I just picture Kermit. Oh God damn.
No, the thing is though, like when I was watching it, I was actually reacting a little bit like this, honestly. Well, not like that, but like that.
What else is a yellow circle?
Can you smile?
Yeah, I was just smiling. I was just like, man.
Oh,
this is great.
bullshit! You were fucking only a blanket.
We were all screaming. Come on now.
But I mean, I know this is like stupid, whatever. But it's, I'm so lazy. I just wrote in smiley face, like on the top.
Yeah, what did you want?
I don't know. I guess I should just put more work into it. I don't know. But here's the thing, though, people. We are going to be ending off like right now. But the thing is, like, we're not really ending off like for the entire night or things like that because what we're probably going to do, we're going to take a quick break, and then instead of doing our thing where we do the rabbit and it's not recorded tonight, we are recording it. We are going to be playing some Quiplash tonight, sir. And I'm going to give us kind of an intermission thing. So, I mean, I will be ending off the stream, but you will see us pop right back up on YouTube, and we will get together. We will do our thing. It'll be awesome, but just know that we will be recording and we will be playing on Midnight Chat Tab because this is our last show. I didn't want to, tell you guys for a while, but yes, this is it.
Where Brooklyn at? Where Brooklyn at?
Yeah, boy.
Yeah. Well, no,
hey, we can actually ask that in the proper place.
Well, no, I actually didn't even tell Gondra Allen. Like, I know you guys talking about Brooklyn. No, this is gonna be our last MCA. I'm sorry.
What?
Yeah, this is our last MCA. So, I just wanted to, I'm just joking.
Yeah, I'm like, this is news to me.
I'm like, okay, this doesn't make any sense.
I just wanted to say, you kind of fucked up in telling me when I'm about to see you in like maybe 5 days. So it's not like you're not going to pay for this fuck over.
I'm just kind of curious, like, to see, like, if the chat's gonna be like, what? No, but they don't give a shit.
Gotcha, I burned your weed and I fucked your girl. I'll see you tomorrow.
And here's the thing, too, man. One big thing, too. Just like a little moment to kind of be real for a second, you know, outside of the show and things like that. But, like, yo, next week, Thursday, I'm going to see you, Alan. We're going to be in the same proximity. If you want to punch me, you can. Want to hug me? Don't kiss me, though. I don't want you to kiss me.
I'm going to kill you.
Oh, no, he only likes the flavor of chocolate. Ask Chicago John.
Oh.
I'm going to be bringing this controller, and I'm going to right across the head.
Oh,
Okay,
wait.
Alan, I'm glad you turned that sideways because the way you held it looked like a sausage. So
Damn, Justin. So
You are
said
really
both
not
guys
helping this me and you relationship persona at all.
no, I'm just saying.
Oh,
So
yeah,
apparently Ganja was blowing up a potato. You were holding a sausage. It's just a food theme going on. Remember?
Every time Justin sees Alan, he sees sausage.
And now I have ketchup, so it just comes full circle, baby.
Oh man, I actually, we're good. So, Justin, I will see you soon. When are you gonna be there? Actually, just so I know, are you gonna be at the meet and greet and everything too, dude?
I mean, well, so didn't they say that they want people who didn't have tickets to go to the meet and greet?
Oh, I don't know about you, but I'm still going to
Yeah, I'm
that.
still going. Too.
I mean,
Like,
if
especially
that's
if
the case,
I paid my ticket. Like,
I'll go to the meet and greet. I just don't have anywhere to. I mean, either I'll just drive back to Syracuse, or if I find a place to stay in New York, I would. But yeah, I mean, I'll be there.
Yeah, no, you'll find someone that will like you right underneath their desk, man. So, but man, no, it's gonna be cool as shit, man. Seriously, like in 4 days, I'm finally gonna see all of you guys, and then honestly, after that too, I'll probably be on webcam from now on. So this might be the last time you're gonna be seeing me do my stupid little avatar thing. And you will notice too, I do not look like this avatar. It's y'all Yodi's fault. Yell at Yodi.
I can't wait to see you. And if you look even somewhat similar, I'm going to just message Jody. Yeah, man, you got my money right.
I'm going to be recording every fucking second of this fucking thing.
No,
Don't
yeah,
forget,
I'm bringing
Nick.
my camera too.
Don't forget,
Yeah.
Nick. You also have some recordings from last year, so just in case Fool over here think he got something over you.
oh.
Okay, what am I gonna? Okay,
Do I
that
need to
is
put up a highlight
bullshit.
video, sir? Do I need to put up a fucking highlight video of you and your
Audio.
money?
The entire thing is audio, so unless you started recording video of that, in which
But
that's
no,
the
no.
case,
No, I
I'm
got
going
video and audio. You were so drunk you don't remember, but
Oh, my
it's
bad.
video,
I didn't
sir.
know there was video.
Oh yes.
I wish it-
Oh yes.
Now I wish you recorded more video of you when you were drunk this year.
Oh no, this was real. Oh man, it won't be as bad as like in Austin, because Austin's on a fucking mountain, where New York's on the same sea level as I am, so it won't be like my body won't be like really fucked up. 'Cause that was the problem. It's Austin's on a
Sure.
fucking mountain. Austin's on a fucking mountain, and I live at sea level. Like it's a huge fucking difference. Ask Ganja.
I've lived in mountains and sea level. I'm pretty well balanced.
Yeah, but you don't drink. It's your
Yeah,
body
what the
breaks.
hell kind of question is
Yeah, you don't drink, Al.
That's perfectly
Man.
fine. Yeah, bitch, you were sober the whole fucking time.
But here's the thing, though, people. We are definitely going to be leaving now. You guys already see that thing on top. I gotta wait a second and kind of saw it because you know VLC is a fucking sack of goddamn shit.
Let's just build it up. Let's just build it up. Ready? Is it ready, Nick? Is it?
Wait, let me cook it. Oh,
My fingers!
It's a Canadian PSA. I was going to see them in New York in a few days, but now I got a burnt fucking Freddy Krueger face. But here's the thing, though, Ganja Guru. It's time to do this. Let's build that shit up. And 3, and then 2, and then 1. Attack.